The Texas Rangers are the hottest team in baseball, winning 9 games in a row thanks to clutch hitting, power pitching, and dazzling defense. Tonight, they bring their streak to the Motor City and open up a big weekend series with the Tigers. And welcome to Texas Rangers Baseball presented by AT&T. It's a chilly night in Detroit as the Rangers take their 9-game win streak on the road and for the first time this year into the Eastern time zone. First of 3 against the Tigers. Both teams in very similar spots record-wise. And this will be a very big 3-game series, certainly for the Rangers. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. As I mentioned, the Rangers on a 9-game winning streak. And I suppose, CJ, it stands to reason that's because everything has gone well.
No doubt about it. Everything going right now for the Texas Rangers. But let's take a look at the offense. The bats have been incredible during the streak. And the thing that really sticks out to me is that we are seeing those strikeouts go down. There has been more contact. You see the 6.6 runs per game. But certainly putting the ball in play has benefited the Rangers. And then it is the pitching. And this whole deal started with A.J. Griffin and the great start that he delivered. And all of the other starters have since followed. And what about the defense? Maybe the one part that we don't talk about enough with the Texas Rangers. One error in 9 games, that has been it. They've done an excellent job of fielding behind the great pitching that they have been getting, but absolutely all facets of the game right now working for the Texas Rangers.
Now, so the Rangers, we mentioned 9 in a row, trying to make it 10 tonight. Longest win streak in all of baseball so far. And, of course, the last 8 at home. The last time that happened in the American League, 2013, was these Tigers here in Comerica. So a somewhat historic streak for the Rangers. They hope to keep that going here in Detroit. And to do that, oftentimes you think, well, all right, you got to stop Miguel Cabrera. You got to be worried about Victor Martinez. That's not the case this weekend.
Yeah, that's the good news here right now for the Texas Rangers. Those 2 big bats are gone, but J.D. Martinez has been red hot since he's gotten off the disabled list. So that will be the issue, I think, that the Rangers pitchers will have to deal with. Check this out. It's only 6 games that he has been back off the DL. He's hitting .500 with 5 home runs. A lot of times guys come off the DL. They need a little time to get acclimated, but that has not been the case for J.D. Martinez. So he is the bat you keep an eye on tonight, red hot since he's come off the DL.
All right, the other thing is the Rangers have had some success here in Detroit. Last year, sweeping a 3-game series. The year before, winning 3 straight here in Detroit. So hopefully they can keep that going here.
Sure. There's always something to be said, I believe, for coming to a ballpark and where you're comfortable and where you have had success. And the Rangers here at Comerica Park have done that. And so they would love to keep this winning streak alive, both the one that they've had here at Comerica Park, but more importantly, the current 9-game winning streak that they are in the middle of and trying to continue and keep that thing going here against the Tigers.
All right, well, one of the guys who may be key to that happening, if the Rangers are to keep this win streak going, will be Rougned Odor. And by the way, lots of success here at Comerica Park. We're putting his play here in the spotlight when we come back. go here tonight in Detroit. Opening game of this 3-game series. We mentioned as we were going to break, well, last year, Rougned Odor really played well here last year. It's time for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight as we look back at Rougie's play here.
Rougned Odor coming back to Comerica. Now, we know there's been some really good starting pitching here over the years, but also an opportunity to beat up on some struggling bullpens. How about that one where he went opposite field into the bullpens here? And like I said, there are certain mounds that you step on as a pitcher. There are certain boxes you dig in on as a hitter where you're just comfortable right away. And for whatever the reason, Rougned Odor has seen the ball well here at Comerica Park. And you see those 10 games, the average, the extra base hits, the 10 RBIs. Rangers fans would love to see him add to those totals over the next 3 days.
Well, that's Rougie. Guy's going to try and stay warm down in that dugout tonight. It is a chilly one up here in the upper Midwest. Delano DeShields, by the way, back in that leadoff spot tonight against the left-hander. More about his game when we come back. Is brought to you by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. All right, getting set tonight. Opening game in a 3-game series, Rangers and Tigers. Great to have you along with us tonight as we take a look at the Texas Rangers Southwest starting lineup. Now at 22-20, a high water mark for the Rangers. 2 games over 500. And as we mentioned, DeShields back in that leadoff spot in left field. It'll be Chu and Andrews after him. Once again, the catcher spot, no matter who's in it. Jonathan Lucroy today batting cleanup. Odor 5th. Napoli, Gallo, Rua, and Jared Hoying starting in center.
And that lineup will be going up against Daniel Norris, the lefty for the Detroit Tigers. Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Norris. You see heavy usage of the fastball, 56%. A very high batting average against that fastball. Opposing hitters hitting .333 off of Norris when he throws that pitch. Slider, changeup, curveball round out the arsenal. Now, no home runs off of that fastball, but a very high batting average. And really not a lot of home runs at all. And the Tiger defense, take a look here in the outfield. Justin Upton, Andrew Romine, and Tyler Collins will be in right. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Avila at first base, who is filling in there for Miguel Cabrera and has actually been swinging a very good bat. And James McCann will be behind the plate catching Norris.
All right, so we are set to go. So I mentioned DeShields leading it off today. The on-base percentage right up there at .333. His job, get on, set the table, and he's done a good job of that since taking over both at the leadoff spot and occasionally against right-handed pitching, batting ninth, the, I guess, leadoff prime, you might call it. 52 degrees here at game time, and it will cool down a little more over the course of the evening. And we're going to see cool weather on this entire three-city road trip.
I hear you talking about the weather. It's not that cold. I mean, it might be a little bit cold later, but let's not.
It's a little chilly, no?
Yeah, chilly. It can get colder here in Michigan. It feels nice. I mean, it was warm in Texas, right? Starting to turn the corner a little bit down in Arlington. I was pretty happy with this cool weather so far. Now, check back with me in a couple hours. I may have a different feel for it. Delino DeShields, when we think about what he has done in the leadoff spot for the Texas Rangers, you actually see the average come down a little bit. But the big thing for me there, you see the 13 runs and the 5 stolen bases, right? Getting on base and allowing those middle of the order bats to drive him in.
Well, battling here with Norris, and the count 2-2. One of the things he's done well in that leadoff position is see some pitches, and he's done it in this at bat. This will be number 6 of the at bat, and a half swing roller to short. Iglesias with a long throw, and that one gets away from Avila, and so DeShields is on. That's a base hit, but I'm not sure what happened with Iglesias. Looked like he might have lost his footing there or something as he made the throw.
Well, we knew this. He knew he had to hurry that throw. It was a slow ground ball that was hit in the hole, or at least one that slowed down as it got to him. But a 2-hop throw is certainly not what he was intending to do. You see how he took no steps? It was just a quick exchange and get that ball out of his hand and over to first base as quickly as possible. But I don't think the idea of bouncing it twice was necessarily what he wanted to do. 1 hop, and maybe you would have a chance, but you're not going to get Delino with a 2-hop throw.
Well, he's on now, and with very good speed, a chance to advance during this at bat. Pretty healthy lead. And Chu will drag a bunt. Perfect spot. Norris off with the glove flip. Gets it to first in time. Well, that is beautifully executed by Daniel Norris.
Now, this is a great play. You know this. I mean, I love the idea of Chu trying to bunt, but what you do this against a left-handed pitcher who falls off to the third base side as you push that bunt to second base, and that's exactly what Chu did. Now, Norris doesn't fall off a ton, but he's still finishing that way. But what a great reaction and flip right there. I mean, he knows this is kind of a do-or-die play. You got to get there and flip it all in one stride, and he does exactly that. Nice play.
So DeShields now out at second base. That's the good news. 1 out, though, as Andrews steps in. Elvis hitting .284, but with more power this year than we have seen in years past. Of course, we got used to Elvis being able to drive the ball in the second half last year, where he really embraced power, and he lifts this one high in the air to center field. Romaine is back and makes the catch. Shields tags. He'll move up to third, but there are 2 away. So it's going to be up to Jonathan Lucroy. First game on this road trip, 3 here in Detroit. Off day Monday, then 3 in Boston, and then next weekend it'll be 3 in Canada against the Blue Jays. Lucroy, he had the day off yesterday, so well rested, ready to go tonight.
Jonathan Lucroy has been very good. Another one of those bats that we talk about that has been hot during the streak, but just swinging the bat really well. The quality of that bats, I think, is what really sticks out with him. He's been very good with 2 strikes. He's been very good up the middle and the other way, but also you leave him something out over the plate and he's been able to drive it to left field as well. So he's really shown it all so far, I should say recently, for him, especially during the win streak.
Well, he's on a 6-game hitting streak, a stretch over which he has been really good. But look at the last 11 games, to your point. On base 435. They're driving the ball for some extra base hits and a couple of doubles on that homestand. And now it's 2-1. Well, we've seen it with a lot of these Rangers hitters in this last stretch of 9 games. You know, contributions on any given night from just about anybody in the order. It was interesting reading a lot of the advanced copy here in Detroit coming into town, because the point was made on a number of occasions that everyone in this lineup can hurt the opposition with the long ball. As this one bounced to Ian Kinsler, takes care of Lucroy, and the inning is over. So the Rangers get the lead man on, but leave him at third, and now Nick Martinez out to the hill. Rangers come up empty the top of the first. Let's take a look at the Detroit Tigers. 20 wins, 19 losses. Ian Kinsler in that top spot at second base and has had great success against the Rangers. Collins, Martinez, of course, at the bottom of the order. James McCann, catcher. He was very good last year, very productive for them. Andrew Romine in center field, and Jose Iglesias, the shortstop.
And they will be facing Nick Martinez and this pitch arsenal right here. 4-seam, 2-seam fastball and cutter. That is the bulk of what these Tiger hitters will see. Nick will also mix in that curveball and the changeup. That is a true 5-pitch mix there for Nick Martinez. Uses all of those pitches a pretty good amount, but the 4-2 and the cutter. All hard pitches, kind of similar ranges for them. That fastball 92 to 94. And that cutter about 87 to 90.
So Kinsler starting things off. Average just at 240 for Kinsler. And he golfs this one straight up in the air back of second base. Odor ranging well out there into center to make the play, and there's one out here in the first inning.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. How'd I do spitting that up? Delano Shields, Jared Hoying in center. Since you two, of course, Hoying is in there with Carlos Gomez on the DL. Joey Gallo, Elvis Andrews, Rougned Odor. Ryan Rua getting another start, and probably one that he has earned at first base when you think about how he has swung the bat. The big home run in yesterday's game, the three-run bomb for him. I'm sure he's got to appreciate getting some consistent playing time, consistent at-bats for Ryan.
There's a left-handed hitting Tyler Collins. And Collins swings right over the top of that offering from Martinez. Collins at 233 for the year. There's 2 balls and a strike. So Nick Martinez looking for that first win of the season. 0-2 so far. ERA little over 5. And this is his 6th start of the year. There's now 3 balls and a strike.
It's Polish night here at the ballpark in Comerica. I don't know what that smell is. Some kind of Polish donuts, but it is. They smell delicious. Crushing me right now.
Yeah, this is a big night here. There's a lot of excitement coming in. And there's a strike to Collins. It's a full count. Polish Heritage Night. Now they, in the media lounge, they hooked us up. Pierogies, and we had the kielbasas. 3-2, and there's a swing and a miss. Collins down on strikes. First strikeout tonight for Martinez.
This is a good four-seam fastball from Nick Martinez, just going right at Tyler Collins. Ball right down the middle, but you see Collins trying to pull off that ball a little bit. Jonathan was set up kind of on the outer third of the plate, but that swing was late, but also kind of a long pull, dead pull swing there for Collins.
Now J.D. Martinez, and you talked about him in the open. This is the guy who has been swinging a ridiculous bat since getting healthy again. Martinez, just 16 at bats so far this season. 5 home runs.
And spraying the ball all over the place too. That's when you know a guy is locked in. It's not just the great numbers, but you see that swing right there from J.D. Martinez, and he has power the other way. We showed it in our open in some of those home runs, but again, it's only been 6 games, but he has come out swinging the bat and he's been really hot. But his spray chart, you look at his hits in the outfield, left, center, and right, all an even 21%.
2-1 the count.
Those are the most difficult hitters to face. They're the most difficult hitters to game plan against, because when they're hitting the ball all over the field with some power, with authority, means they got really good plate coverage, and you can't just pick one spot to pitch them.
Fights that one off. Rua gives it a look. 2-2. So our TXU Energy power player to watch tonight. Yeah, not a big surprise. But you go back last year, and then the little that he has played this year. Numbers at home, a .368 average, and OPS over 1,100. Yeah, that's best among all active American League players.
I think the Tigers better take note of that as well, because JD is a free agent at the end of the year. And if you think about how strong he has been at home, you look at those numbers, that's a bat I'm sure they would love to have back in this lineup next year and moving forward. The question becomes whether or not the Tigers could really afford him. That might be a no. They just signed Justin Upton. Miguel Cabrera still has a lot of money left on his contract. Jordan Zimmerman, of course, they gave the contract to a couple of years ago. Justin Verlander is still under his deal for a little while, so they may not have the financial flexibility.
Well, he strikes out swinging, chases that one upstairs, and it's a perfect bottom of the first. We go to the second inning. Rougned Odor will lead things off for the Rangers when we come back.
here in Detroit to Michigan, and the Rangers and Tigers, no score.
Well, we will see Rougned Odor, Mike Napoli, and Joey Gallo in the second inning. Daniel Norris deals low, ball one.
Norris, a guy who is not dominant against lefties or righties. You should kind of make that assumption a little bit. Maybe he would have better numbers against the lefties, especially because the slider is kind of the go-to all-speed pitch. But how about this? 296 batting average against lefties, 297 against righties. So pretty much even splits for him when you look at the batting average against.
Pours that one in. It's 1-1.
This is 2 games in a row now where Odor has gotten that lefty-on-lefty fastball called off the plate. That pitch is a ball. But for whatever the reason, umpires will fall into that tendency where you give lefties a little bit more off the plate when they're facing a left-handed hitter.
Well, Odor works ahead here, 2-1. Yesterday, Odor, big RBI hit in that 5-run 5th inning when the Rangers came back to beat the Phillies. And tied up here at 2-2.
I thought this was also an interesting note on Norris. And it may not be that unusual, but he has yet to throw a changeup to a left-handed hitter. Now, you don't do that a lot, but we see more and more left-handed pitchers doing that, throwing that changeup and catching those lefties off guard a little bit. But he has yet to throw one single changeup to a lefty this season.
Popped up for a wide open left side of the infield. Norris is way over, but finally gives way to Castellanos, Iglesias from shortstop, who makes the catch. All right, tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Mike Napoli stepping in. You can see after him will be Joey Gallo. The two of them are the only two who are hitting below 200 and yet have driven in at least 20 runs.
You'll take it. Listen, obviously you'd love those guys to have higher batting averages and to have more hits, but the batting average is not going to be there. At least you're producing runs, and these guys have done absolutely that. We know both of them have come up with big clutch hits, but also driving in runs with guys on base, right? There have been some big home runs from both of them. The consistency of the hits haven't been where they would like them, but listen, driving in those runs is what's more important. It is all about scoring runs in this game.
Well, backdoor breaking ball misses, and it's 1-1 to Napoli. Napoli was definitely swinging it better on that homestand. Hitting 273 on the homestand with 8 RBIs. He also walked 5 times. I think that was the other part of it. We're seeing so many of these Rangers hitters who were striking out a lot early in the season cut back on those quite a bit and being a lot more selective, and it's resulted in many more base runners and thusly a lot more offense. 2-2 as that one fouled off Bruce Dreckman, our home plate umpire.
I got it.
Did a pretty good job. Looked like Can hopped up quickly to check on him, but Dreckman I think was fine. But that one got right back on him.
He's got some padding under that jacket today, which of course they have to have when you're behind home plate. It's another thing. I mean, catching is the first thing I would never want to do on a baseball field, and umpiring behind home plate would be the second.
2-2. And that is called strike 3. Napoli down looking. And for Norris, his first strikeout tonight.
The Rangers take on the Tampa Bay Rays on Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th. The first 15,000 fans in the ballpark will receive a patriotic Rangers cap, courtesy of Carter Blood Care. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. You and I got a nice little free preview of the patriotic cap.
Yeah.
Saw you wearing yours at the gym today. Actually, 100% of that statement was a lie.
Every bit of it. I mean, you couldn't be further off. But good try.
Yeah.
There's Gallo, left-handed hitter. Gallo with 12 home runs, 27 driven in, and takes a mighty cut at that curveball.
That's a good looking breaking ball from Norris. Now we know this about Joey Gallo. I think of what we've seen from him is that you make a mistake with that breaking ball, leave it up over the plate, he will hammer. He's been crushing some off-speed pitches that have been up in the zone. But if you locate it well, get it down and away, that's been a little bit more of an issue for him.
Norris gave up the infield hit to start the game, but has since retired 5 in a row. It's his 8th start of the season, 2-2 record for the left-hander. He's really testing how far Gallo might go out after a pitch. Not very close with that one. 2-2 the count. Norris just turned 24 years old right about a month ago. Still very young guy. Second-round draft pick in 2011. The Toronto Blue Jays selected him. He began his climb and quickly to one of the top prospects, not only in their organization but in the game. And he strikes out Gallo looking, and the inning is over. And it's a 1-2-3 for Norris. He played an inning and a half, no score. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, as I mentioned earlier, very festive day here in Detroit.
Oh,
yeah, let's get the way back.
Sideburns. Please throw a strikeout. Yeah, thank you. Matt Stairs, seat down. Phillies hitting coach. We just saw him. Any good hitters in there? Was that Ben Grieve? Was that Tom's son? Oh, look at Kalo. How's Kalo going to throw his bat at me like that? Kenny Lofton. Hey, was that Ben Grieve? The lefty?
Did you get Ben Grieve? Well, that's impressive.
Didn't get many, but I got a couple. That's dirty. Can't put Tom's son in there if that was right.
We celebrate every single one of them. There's no sense in not doing it. Here's Avila, and Martinez puts it in there for a strike.
This is the one spot where I actually got to spend a little bit of time. We were on the move pretty frequently in the Nikowski household, but almost 5 full seasons here in Detroit.
And it's great. I mean, it's fun when you come back to places like this. The people here remember you as, you know, last night we got to the hotel, you got your room key, and they had somehow or another put you in Eric Nadell's room.
Yes.
And I thought that's a fitting welcome.
I'm huge here. They'll never forget. They take good care of me. They're like, how do you say this name? What is it? I usually get blamed for just the team. You know, I was involved in a trade here in 1995 where the Tigers traded David Wells to the Reds. So that's the one that really people are still a little bitter about. They could have had David Wells a little bit longer, but the Tigers moved on from him. So that was a little frustrating, of course, for Tigers fans. And there were some lean years when I was here in 1995, 1996. Not the greatest of baseball. They got to turn it around, though. They've had a really nice run. They haven't gotten that ring yet, but the Tigers have really done a nice job of picking up some individual hardware, right? You look at Miguel Cabrera, and the MVPs, Justin Verlander, his MVPs, the Cy Young Awards. Michael Fulmer was a Rookie of the Year. They've been able to get it put together. Of course, a longtime owner, Mr. Illich, who passed away this past offseason has really made a huge investment in the city and in this team, and they put on a really nice product on the field the last, what, probably 10 years or so. Even
Yeah.
more than that, right? I mean, that World Series appearance was
2006,
right?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. We're talking about 11 years now.
I'll never forget in the winter, was it of 04 maybe, when they signed Pudge Rodriguez. And I remember thinking to myself, why? There's a fly ball deep left field. Back on it is DeShields, and he'll haul it in. 1 away. That one carried pretty well. But I remember thinking, I heard the announcement on the radio. I was driving in my car, and I thought, what in the world is wrong with the Tigers? What are they going to do with Pudge? You got one of the greatest all time. They spent a ton of money to get him, but they don't have anything else to put him right. Boy, next thing you know, they're in the World Series, and to me, that was the big moment, the turnaround moment for the Tigers. They must have obviously, clearly known what they had coming, and that they needed to add a guy like Pudge to give them the foundation, and boy, it worked out.
Yeah, Pudge was really good here in the 4.5 seasons that he spent in Detroit. Of course, that 2008, that last season, ended up finishing out with the Yankees, but he hit nearly 300 in that time. 57 home runs, but so influential, of course, behind the plate. And that was kind of the turning point. I think that's a really good kind of signing to look at when they realized, you know what, they were ready to get out of that rebuilding phase. Because even after I left, 2002, 2003, it was bad here. It was really bad here. They were really scuffling, but they got it turned around. And the combination of increasing that payroll, they've always spent more than this market probably dictates, right? And that's why Mr. Ilitch is so beloved in the city of Detroit.
Upton shoots one way foul. The count 0-2.
Spend the money. Did a nice job on the Justin Verlander pick. That's big as well. We talked about this a bunch with the Phillies, right? As they sit there and they try to get this whole thing figured out. But the ability to spend some money, but you also have to draft well. You have to hit a couple of trades right.
No balls and 2 strikes on Upton. And Martinez runs it a little tight. Well, Nick has retired the first 4 batters he has faced tonight. And for Nick, his 6th start. Breaking ball. This one lifted high in the air out to right field. Chu waits on it, and there are 2 out.
How about this with the Tigers, too? Going into this season, it seemed like there was a lot of talk about whether or not they wanted to reduce that payroll. Were they going to move on maybe from some of their high contract guys? If you're ever going to trade Miguel Cabrera, could they find a way to maybe trim some payroll? And they really didn't. They moved Cameron Maven, but that wasn't that significant of a move. I think people kind of forgot that this team is still kind of built to be a contender. I was like, oh yeah, well, they're thinking about kind of flipping the script a little bit. Everything else, well, this is still a really good team, and when they're completely healthy, and you have Miguel Cabrera and you have Victor Martinez in this lineup, there's actually no reason to believe why they couldn't hang in there and potentially win this division.
Of course, they're right in the middle of things right now. As you take a look at Castellanos' numbers this year, Castellanos batting 6th for the Tigers, but they're a game over 500. 20-19, and only 1 back right now of the division lead. The Minnesota Twins, of all teams, leading the Central. Still very early in the season.
Got a shot at the Twins a little bit, a little side shot.
No, I don't mean that. They're a little bit of a surprise.
No, they are. They're a huge surprise. I'm not sure anybody really believes they'll be there at the end, but they are playing a lot better than expected. But the Indians are still the favorite in this division. The Indians are running some issues with their starting pitching, so that's been a little bit of a surprise, and I think that's given some other teams some hope, because the Indians on paper were far and away the favorite in the American League Central.
Two out here on the 2-1 to Castellanos.
Castellanos was just dropped down for the longest time now. The Tigers had him in the 2 spot, but the struggles have been there. You saw the numbers when he first came up to bat, just hitting .224. The on-base percentage is under 300, and so Collins is in there tonight Castellanos now dropping down to 6th.
He is the first base runner in tonight's game for Detroit as he draws the walk here with 2 out. We talked about Miguel Cabrera not being available tonight, and this is, largely people have called him the greatest right-handed hitter of this generation, and well, you could argue certainly one of the top 2 or 3 all time. Look at some of the things he's been able to accomplish in his career.
Pretty incredible to watch him hit over the course of his career, and he pretty much came right out of the chute. Swinging the bat early. He's a 20-year-old in the big leagues. And listen, no tears in the Ranger clubhouse, but he's not in the lineup tonight. But yes, one of the greatest. I think that's a fair thing to say about him. Definitely one of the greatest, I think, hitters overall, but certainly right-handed hitters of this generation. Another tough out. Another guy with great plate coverage and really good opposite field power. And who else you put in there? I mean, it's a little bit hard because his career started in 2003. Now it's spanned all these years. So if you take some guys that were really good, maybe through the 2000s, but are no longer playing, and try to compare, say Manny Ramirez as an example, they didn't overlap as much. There's a decent amount of time in there where they were overlapping. And that's the kind of category. Alex Rodriguez, who just finished his last year, but his most productive years, were obviously a few years ago. I think those are the guys in the conversation.
Well, no one hammered just foul by McCann. 1 and 2. But I mean, would you put those guys in quite the same category?
As hitters, so we look at pure hitters and their ability. I know it's one thing to sit there and do all the counting numbers and add them up. But when I think of the greatest right-handed hitters, say starting since 2000, guys you're trying to get out with that same approach, great opposite field power, very difficult to strike out, superstar level players, pretty much year in and year out. It's Miggy for me. It's Manny, Alex Rodriguez, Albert Pujols is in that conversation as well.
Swing and a miss by McCann, and he strikes out for the final out of the second. Hey, Nick Martinez with 3 strikeouts for the first 2 innings. And we head to the 3rd in Detroit. We go to the top of the 3rd. Ryan Rua to start things off. Then Jared Hoying, and back to the top. Both starters off to pretty good beginnings so far tonight. Norris runs that one way in for a ball on Rua. Well, Ryan yesterday had the big home run. That was the 3-run shot in the 5th inning, capping the 5-run inning, which would end up being the difference in the game.
I'm trying to look back here and see what last time he had back-to-back starts was the end of April. It was a big day for him yesterday against Rodriguez, jumping on a first pitch fastball, and the 3-run home run, a huge part of what they did in that 5th inning, and a difference maker. And it's got to be nice for him, like I said, to try to get back in the swing of things. He usually get a start every 2-3 days or so for Ryan Rua, but it hasn't happened yet this month where he's actually got back-to-back starts. So I got to believe he's appreciative of that, and he's earned it.
Takes a strike at the count now 3-1. 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. You look at Norris. He's ready to go. He gets that ball back and he's saying, come on, get in the box, let's go. This ball is stroked into center field. Base hit for Rua. So the Rangers have the lead man on in the 3rd inning.
And that's exactly why Ryan Rua is in there. You look over the course of his career, strong numbers against left-handers, an OPS of 743. This is a fastball that's up over the plate. And I mentioned it, we talked about the arsenal. Those are 4-seam fastballs from Daniel Norris. So he doesn't have that kind of traditional run that ball away from righties with a good 2-seamer down and away. That ball will have a little bit of run to it, but not the real good 2-seam sink. And Ryan Rua was able to square that one up really well.
Norris now deals with another base runner. And checks in on Rua. I mentioned earlier, Norris, 24 years old now. And you're talking about a guy now who has pitched part of 2 years with Toronto, part of now his 3rd year in Detroit. He continues to keep a watchful eye on Rua, who has a couple of steals this year. Hoying waits. And now Norris pitches. So he was really worried there about Rua. Norris, interesting guy. I mean, he is one of the more unique guys you run across in the game. And a guy who has done it his way. I mean, we talk about left-handers being left-handed, right? And
what are you talking about, Dave?
This one in there for a strike. Daniel Norris lives in a van in the offseason. He lives in a 1978 Volkswagen van. And he just rolls around the country. He got like a $2 million signing bonus when he was drafted in the 2nd round, put it away, and lives on an $800 a month allowance. Still. 2-1. That's his house.
It's pretty cool. A lot of guys wouldn't mind living that dream right there. Now he's using an electric shaver there, and I read a story a couple years ago where he was shaving with an axe, which is a nice little urban legend. Whether it's true or not, that's really taking it to a whole nother level.
Rua was running, and this one fouled off by Hoying. It's 2-2. Listen, if somebody says that he was shaving with an axe, then he was.
He probably was. I don't doubt him.
You can't question it, can you?
You probably could not. I wish we had video of that the way that we did with the electric razor. But yeah, I mean, he is an interesting guy.
Very eclectic.
Keeping it simple.
He's also, I mean, it's a guy who several years ago he was diagnosed with cancer in the middle of the season. Did not tell his teammates or his organization, and waited until the off season and had surgery. He had thyroid cancer, and it's all taken care of. He's fine, but really an amazing journey and quite an interesting character, Daniel Norris, and he's a pretty darn good pitcher. Checks Rua again and slides one right in there for strike 3 to Hoying.
He's a good pitcher, and I had talked to Rod Allen before the season started. We were talking about this Tigers rotation. Rod, of course, is an analyst with Fox Sports Detroit, has been covering this team for a while. As you see that slider taken right down the middle by Hoying for a called 3rd strike. But he had said upside for Daniel Norris, he really believes that he could be as good as Michael Fulmer. Michael Fulmer, of course, had a huge year last year. He's a right-hander, a little bit of a different kind of guy. But he said he has that kind of stuff. He could absolutely have the kind of year that Michael Fulmer had a year ago when he was Rookie of the Year, and certainly the Tigers would love to see that.
Well, he's been pretty impressive so far tonight. Has allowed just 2 hits, one of them to this guy, Delano DeShields, infield hit in the first. He has 3 strikeouts tonight of Rangers hitters, all 3 looking.
Think about this too. Dave Dombrowski, who was the general manager here for so long and now has that same title or same basically responsibilities with the Boston Red Sox, made that trade right when David Price was here. David Price went to the Toronto Blue Jays. Daniel Norris and Matt Boyd were 2 of the pitchers that came back. That was a very good trade. Dave Dombrowski is known for the great trades that he's made over the course of his career, but that was a big one. He got 2 left-handed pieces, arms that could be in this rotation. Certainly 2 arms that the Tigers could use for what was a 2-month rental of David Price. Great trade.
Norris gave up the leadoff hit this inning to Rua. With 1 out. His pitch to DeShields. That's high, 3-0.
Now, as far as the stolen base situation goes, we saw Daniel Norris keeping a close eye on Ryan Rua for whatever reason. And James McCann has a pretty good arm, but he has struggled pretty mightily this year as far as throwing runners out. 18 of 19 have been successful. That's 95%. Last year, only 57% of base runners were successful against James McCann. Now, a lot of times that's going to be on the pitchers, and Norris has struggled a little bit. 5 of 7 successful base stealers this year, but to see that number against McCann, very, very surprising. He's got a strong arm, and he's been very good at throwing out runners over the course of his career.
Rua leading again, the 3-1 pitch, and that is high, ball 4, so DeShields walks. 2 really good at bats so far tonight for Delano DeShields. Couple them in on. Time for us to take a Chevy game break. We send it back to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Couple of men on here, 1 out. And the Rangers getting to the heart of the order. Shin-Soo Choo laid down that beautiful sacrifice in the first inning. Very nearly getting a hit out of it. And a chance now, maybe drive a run in. Choo at 262 coming in, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. And he had a great homestand. Did have to take a couple of days off with that stiff lower back, but was very productive when in the lineup. And count now 1-1.
Choo has been real good. I think we're kind of seeing the old Shin-Soo Choo where he's working counts, lefty righty doesn't matter. The splits for him this year actually have been very similar to what we've seen over the course of his career, but it's been very important to have him back in that lineup. He's a different kind of hitter than most, right? Adrian Beltre hasn't been here all year, and so to have a guy like Choo, I think is extremely important in such a big swing in this lineup.
Well, that one got him, and it loads the bases. Choo tried to get out of the way, but that one just kept riding in on him, and so he's at first, DeShields to second, Rua at third.
We'll see Norris here. It looked like he's trying to throw a fastball kind of middle in and just didn't finish it off. He left it up and in, and it gets Choo right on that right tricep. That's what we talk about pitching in lefty on lefty. There's such a small margin for error. More often than not, too, because a lot of those lefties will have the good run, which I mentioned earlier Norris doesn't necessarily have, but still a small margin for error. And there's been a lot of conversation now going around baseball. I don't know if it's because you step out and you just watch the games now on TV, or we watch them in this booth here, but there does seem to be a little bit of an issue with guys and their ability to throw inside consistently. And I think some hitters are starting to get a little bit frustrated by some of these hit by pitches and the inconsistencies of fastballs when pitchers are trying to go inside the hitters.
Well, this one certainly helps the Rangers' cause. Only one out, and the bases are now loaded for Elvis Andrus. Get the right-handed hitter up there in a huge spot. We're talking about guys who were swinging it well on the homestand. Andrus 10 for 33 in that last homestand. A couple of doubles, drove in 6, so brings a pretty hot bat into this road trip. Bounces this one third base, but foul, and it's 1-1. Another thing about Elvis, and I mean, look, when you run off 9 straight wins, a lot of guys are going to have, you know, certain numbers that are pretty impressive, especially with runners in scoring position. But Elvis, in his last 6 times up with a runner in scoring position, he's delivered 4 times.
He's been clutch, and clutch over the course of his career too in these situations with the bases loaded. He's a .347 hitter career with the bases loaded, but no grand slams. Got to get that first one right.
We're right here. 2-1. So Norris allowed the base hit, then with 1 out, walked to Shields, then hit Chu. And Andrus with a chance to put a big number on the board here early. And with that in mind, Daniel Norris steps off the rubber.
Yeah, James McCann didn't like whatever sign he put down in that situation and decided, you know what, let's change this here. Or if they felt like maybe because there's been a couple of runners on second base, that they want to switch up what they're doing on their signs, right? That's always part of it as well, whether or not you want to change the signs that you're using. Of course, mixed signs when you have a runner on second base, but I guess they're probably more of a verbal command on what they want to do with this pitch.
All right, a big 2-1 forthcoming, and it's on the way. And that'll square the count.
This was the slider. Let's see here. Yeah, it looked like the grip there was a slider. He wanted that more on the outer third, but man, that had some big horizontal break to it. I ended up finishing a ball when it was all said and done.
Two. Elvis stays alive. Elvis has been so consistent in his first quarter of the season. This is the 43rd game of the regular season. So consistent. He's been in the lineup every day. He started 41 of the 42 games coming into tonight at shortstop. And he's been that one guy that Jeff Bannister can ride in every day. Takes it high, and it's a full count.
So I look to my right, and who do I see in the Detroit Tigers TV booth? None other than Pudge Rodriguez. Trader.
I thought this was your big home.
I mean, it's Polish night in Detroit. It's time for a '96 Tigers reunion.
Well, the 3-2. And Andrus hits it sharply foul. Oh, nice play down there. Good lean. Nice bare hand grab. And there's Pudge.
A couple of good baseball players in that booth right there. Kirk Gibson as well. Remember we had that conversation. I was talking about Lou Whitaker turning 60, and Gibby's about to turn 60 this month. A couple of guys that I was fortunate enough to call teammates as well. I always joke that I sent Gibby into retirement. When I came over in that trade for David Wells in '95, he retired 2 weeks later. So, well, if this is the direction the team's going in, I think I'm going to shut it down.
Andrus watches ball 4, and Norris has just walked in a run. Rangers lead 1-0 on the bases loaded walk to Elvis Andrus. How about that? 2 walks and a hit batter in the inning.
And the command all of a sudden getting away now from Daniel Norris, which has been a little bit of an issue for him this year. His walk rate is up. It was 4.6 per nine coming into this game. You look at his career, 3.4, which is about average for a lefty, kind of one that you could live with. But for this year, it had gotten away from him a little bit. Now he'd only hit one hitter coming into tonight's game, so that was a little bit of a surprise to see the hit by pitch and the walks all of a sudden become an issue here. Especially, I know he hit Chu, the lefty, but to walk, the base hit, the 2 walks to right-handed hitters.
Well, he starts Lucroy with strike one. Jonathan grounded out in the first inning, 0 for 1 tonight, but the base is loaded for him now. And the Rangers, a very early lead.
And here's the other thing that comes across with this as well, is that the Tigers bullpen is a little bit thin. They've thrown a lot over that past series they just had with the Baltimore Orioles, and Daniel Norris, you see him getting ready to throw number 55 and the 28th pitch of this inning.
Chopper at third. They'll get just one out. They throw to first anyway, but Lucroy able to beat it out. The inning continues. A run is in, and it's 2-0 Rangers.
I'm not exactly sure what happened here with Ian Kinsler, but this should have been a double play. The Rangers will take it. You see Castellanos does not pause, gets that ball to Kinsler. Just took him a little while to get that ball out of his glove, and that gave Jonathan just enough time to beat that ground ball out. And a little gift from Ian Kinsler to the Texas Rangers.
And an RBI now for Lucroy. Maybe bigger still. The inning continues. Rougned Odor with a man at third and a man at first. 2-0 Rangers. Odor popped up in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. And he takes strike one from Norris.
So I mentioned that Tiger bullpen. There has been some work taken on going back to the last 3 games. 3 innings last night, 2 innings the night before, but then they had that extra inning game.
Yeah.
The starter got knocked out in the 3rd inning. The bullpen picked up 10 2/3 innings 3 nights ago. So they've been a little bit thin. They called up Buck Farmer today. They're running an 8-man bullpen out there right now. So Victor Martinez goes to paternity leave and actually had a pitcher instead.
Well, not to mention they've had to swap some roles out in that bullpen as well in the closer position. So it's a good time maybe to catch these Tigers, especially if you can get into the bullpen relatively early. Rangers have jumped out 2-0 here and hoping to add more in the 3rd.
You see the totals there for Daniel Norris. 57 pitches so far through 2 2/3 innings, but more importantly, or as important, is that high ball count as well. He has had a hard time keeping the ball in the zone consistently.
2-strike pitch, and Odor lifts this one into center field. Romine waits and takes care of it. Inning over. Rangers though get a couple. They leave a couple. We played 2.5. 2-0 Texas. to the bottom of the third inning. And Rangers fans join Fox Sports and celebrate the career of Pudge Rodriguez. See the number 7 retirement ceremony on August 12th. The special 7-game ticket package includes tickets to see his jersey retired. So log on to TexasRangers.com/Pudge. Get your seats to witness history. Bottom of the third. We're going to see the bottom of the order for the Tigers. Andrew Romine, and the 9th place hitter, Jose Iglesias, and then back up top for the former Ranger, Ian Kinsler. Martinez working with a little lead now. Nick has allowed just 1 base runner in the first 2 innings. That was the walk that he issued to Castellanos. (2-0), and Jonathan Lucroy will jog out there to deliver the baseball to Martinez. What would that mean when you were a pitcher and a catcher, 2 pitches into the inning, grabbed the baseball and ran out to you?
Maybe if you want to get a guy refocused. Not that I think Nick necessarily is one of those kind of candidates, but if you have a guy that, feel like maybe sometimes, for whatever reason, lose a little focus or whatever it may be, Nick's thrown the ball really well up to this point. If there was something maybe Jonathan saw in delivery, right? It was a little bit of a long inning, making sure he doesn't fall into that trap of, coming out a little stiff or out of sync because he had thrown the ball really well up to this point. So something most likely along those lines.
Would catchers sometimes come out and give you a little mechanical thing like, hey, stay back? And
a little bit. I mean,
did that annoy you?
No. I mean, if it was something significant or something that I agreed with, right? It's sometimes if you get a catcher, you feel like if he's saying the same thing over and over again and he's just saying it to say it, that's not going to carry a lot of weight. But if you have a catcher, this is so important in the relationship, in my opinion, is if you have a catcher that is digging in, that cares, that he's doing his homework, he knows where your strengths and your weaknesses are, he knows what works for you.
Well, bouncer second base, Odor is there, 1 away.
That's when it can have the most effect for me.
Well, speaking of great catchers who dig in, do their work, and help you out, Pudge did for a lot of guys.
What's Sean Casey doing right there?
Getting in the way?
Yeah, get out of the way, man. Let this guy be great. Pudge, one of the greatest we have ever seen behind the plate. He did it all. Hit for power, hit for average. Tremendous arm. Had to throw to him a handful of times. It's a pretty good team they put together, by the way. You talk about putting some guys together to try to make it happen. Gary Sheffield, Sean Casey. Those 3 guys alone with Pudge. That was a nasty lineup in the middle.
Iglesias bounces this one right to Odor. And that's 2 in a row for Rougned. 2 out in this 3rd inning.
Whatever Jonathan said worked.
I'll say.
Tell that to everybody. I'm sure Banny's like, hey, man, whatever that was, she tell the next guy too. But as we showed that shot of Kirk Gibson and Pudge Rodriguez, for me, how you feel about it, still one of the greatest parts of being around this game is that you can get involved in some of those conversations, or you get to sit right now, or if you're a viewer, Fox Sports Detroit, you get to hear these conversations. I mean, anytime you can get around great players and listen to them talk baseball. I mean, Gibby stopped by here, poked his head in, which is kind of cool. I'm out playing with him. I've known him for a long time, and he was a broadcaster when I was here as well. Just to catch up, it's still there for me. Like, it's the great guys. Like, even though you're like, yeah, you know him on a personal level, it's still cool, man. It's still cool because, like everybody else, I got chills watching him hit that home run at Dodger Stadium. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a cool moment.
Liner into center field. That's a base hit for Kinsler. First hit of the night for the Tigers.
Then you get a couple of these guys together doing it, those conversations, and it gets even better. I was exposed to it really throughout my career. You see Ian Kinsler here. We'll take a look at this replay on the base hit. Nick Martinez, a little cutter. It stayed up a little higher than he wanted. It's a nice looking swing there for me. Hey, doing like some of the Fox stuff that I've done and have a conversation with Pete Rose, Greg Thomas, and guys I've known for a while, and I know them on a personal level. But it's still cool, man. It's still cool to sit there and listen to them talk baseball. And then around this organization, because there's so much history, whenever you have a chance to put on a uniform where there's great history, we mentioned Gibby. Maybe one of the coolest guys I ever met here was that man right there.
You go.
I mean, Al Kaline, who was a batting champion at 20 years old in 1955. And as nice of a man as you will ever meet, and as nice of a Hall of Famer as you will ever meet. And I tell you, it's still one of the greatest things about this game is to have an opportunity to get into some conversations, to get to know some people, listen to them talk about the game, whether it be from their day or what they see now. Love that stuff.
Tyler Collins with a man on, 2 out. Was there a one moment in particular? You mentioned a lot of names. Pete Rose photobombed you once on the set. Fox Sports, I remember that. But you know, I mean, you get the chance in a lot of different places. Any one person over the years?
There's a bunch of them. You know, I think anytime you get to meet the people you idolized, that was pretty cool. I grew up a big Willie Randolph fan. I had that. Later was a coach of mine, so that was a nice moment for me.
Shields closes on that little pop-up. Inning over. We've played 3 so far tonight. Mike Napoli will lead it off in the 4th with the Rangers leading 2-0.
Leading the Tigers by a score of 2-0, and we are lighting up the night skies with a superhero Friday postgame fireworks show. That's going to happen on Friday, June 2nd, after the Rangers Astros. A fireworks show set to superhero themed music. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS.
Well, we're in the 4th inning now. Mike Napoli leading it off. And Norris misses outside and goes 2-0 to Napoli. Norris was really having trouble commanding the zone in that 3rd inning, the inning in which the Rangers scored a couple. And this ball's hit well, deep left field. Back goes Upton, and that one is gone. Not much doubt there. Solo home run by Mike Napoli. 9th of the year, and it makes it 3-0.
Well, that went over the bullpen, so that's an old Comerica Park home run. The walls have been brought in left field, but that does not matter for Mike Napoli, who gets himself in a good 2-0 count, gets a fastball, doesn't miss it. It was interesting to me in his first at-bat where he went hacking at a first pitch fastball. We don't see that too often from him, and in this situation, he gets a 2-0 fastball, so both times the first fastball he has seen in the zone, he has gone after, and he absolutely annihilated this baseball.
Yeah, those fences moved in 2003. They moved them in 25 feet in left field, and I don't know, it wouldn't have made a difference there. But this was, when it opened, just a massive ballpark. You see the dimensions, 420 to center field.
And that flagpole used to be in play. Much like old Tiger Stadium, right? That was one of the signature things from Old Tiger Stadium that the flagpole was so far away, but it was in play. And they continued the tradition, at least for a couple of years, and then they realized this park's kind of big. And I was here the first year when this opened and played for this team, and I watched a lot of hitters get really frustrated. And it wasn't even left field. So left field is big, and was big, and they put the bullpens out there now, and it's much more reasonable. See the scoreboard there in right field, right center field right there, that scoreboard that's at ground level?
Yeah.
That's where balls go to die in the air. When you hit it up in the air there, now we've seen a couple of guys go over that part of the wall, but I've watched some lefties get real frustrated early on when this ballpark first opened up.
Gallo strikes out swinging, 1 away in this 4th inning.
Because at the same time, so a lot of holdovers from the year before. So that was 2000 when this park opened. Well, for anybody that was on that roster the year before and any year before that, 1999, playing at Old Tiger Stadium, right field was kind of a joke. If you remember, too, remember right field, this was one of the coolest things about Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
The right field second deck actually hung over into fair territory. So there would be a couple of times where a guy would hit, say, a Mike Napoli type of home run, right? He hits his home runs real high, right? So there would be times, I watched this happen, where you'd see the right fielder back against the wall, thinking he's about to catch a fly ball, and it would land in the upper deck. He was under it. He was cammed. And that's because that second level hung over. So you take those same hitters, you bring them to Comerica Park the next year and say, hey, what happened? Well, now you got to earn it, buddy. That's the way it goes. I did not have any complaints about that.
And when you say that, you're speaking of big Comerica Park.
Yeah, absolutely. Once it got bigger.
You relayed the stories of right fielders settling in for what you thought maybe was a routine fly ball, only to disappear into the second deck. You told that story as if maybe you'd witnessed that once or twice.
I might have used it as an excuse for ones that were like 20 rows deep in the upper deck. But that's not a home run. That's not hanging over. But I did see it. I don't know if I was the guy who actually did it, but I definitely saw it.
Norris with a kick save right there. The count stays 1-2.
All right, Dave, I got a little Comerica trivia for you here.
All right,
now, there's a reason why you should know the answer to this.
Okay.
Do you know who the first ever batter was at Comerica Park?
First?
Say, well, that's kind of a random question. Why would he know that? Why would Dave Raymond have an idea?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, there's nothing that jumps.
He's part of the Rangers broadcast team.
Mark McLemore?
That is correct.
Wow.
That was a little bit too good of a hint.
That was a great hint.
I don't want this to drag too long. I don't want it to drag too long. Well, you're like, all right, well, it's not Bassick, not Murph, Pudge. And Pudge really could have been your only other guess, right?
Yeah, Pudge could have worked.
Yeah, 50-50 shot.
1-2. And Rua takes strike 3 called, and that is another strikeout for Norris, his 4th looking, 5th overall.
I think this really speaks to the fastball and the life that it has on it, because the called third strikes have been on fastballs. Now that one was one where Ryan Rua might have thought that pitch was a ball, especially they were trying to go in. The ball was more up and away. That fastball will get on you a little bit from Daniel Norris.
Now Hoying, and did he check his swing? Yes, he did. Bill Welke, our third base umpire, waves him safe. 1-1 on Hoying. Hoying, one of those strikeouts looking back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a tougher at bat. We saw him take the slider, actually. That was the one off-speed pitch that we saw taken for a 3rd strike. But Jared Hoying, he's got that kind of swing where there's a lot of pull in his swing, even on pitches away. He can get to those pitches, but he's going to go out, he's going to hook them. And so doing that against the lefty is a little bit harder unless you're cheating out there and leaning out there. And so if Daniel Norris could paint that fastball away and even that slider away, that's going to be a pretty tough pitch for Jared.
Cuts through that one, a strikeout swinging, and Norris strikes out the side.
But not before Mike Napoli got a hold of a 2-0 fastball and deposited it in the left field seats here at Comerica Park.
Okay, time now for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. And we referenced this the other night, but Freddie Freeman, after an incredible start with the Braves, now going to miss 10 weeks with that fractured wrist. They've redone the competition committee. They've restructured it now to include some active managers, recently retired ball players, giving that a much different look now as J.D. Martinez swings and misses to start the fourth. That's kind of an interesting move.
It is.
And then, of course, Kenley Jansen. How about the immaculate ninth inning last night against the Marlins?
9 pitches, 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, how many of those did you have?
0. We never even called it that. That wasn't like a phrase that we used. I don't know how new that is. I said that'd be cool to get a 9-pitch, 3 strikeout inning would be cool, but
I believe he's the 80th to have done it now all time. Yeah, 9 pitches to strike out 3 hitters in an inning, and that's it.
So not as rare as a no-hitter, or more rare than a no-hitter, but not as rare as a perfect game. That's cool. I think 4 strikeouts in an inning is more exciting, though, more fun. That's cool. Of course, 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts, but the idea of punching out 4 guys in an inning, I think is more cool. Now we'll have to find out which has happened more. Which is pretty close. What do you think? Or do you think it's way more than 4 strikeouts?
I think 4 strikeouts in an inning is going to be a lot more common.
I think so.
Yeah. Which is sort of interesting because it probably isn't. I mean, I feel like it should be, but that's one of those things. I don't know. Until you look it up. If somebody told you, yeah, it's happened 17 times. Say, oh, okay. Martinez lines one to center, but right there for it is Hoying, and that is out number 1.
How about this? On Saturday, June 3rd, when the Rangers face the Astros, the first 10,000 fans will receive a Cole Hamels superhero bobblehead, courtesy of Jimmy John's Gourmet Sandwiches. And don't forget to wear your Rangers red to red out the ballpark. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. It's back-to-back superhero theme. Giveaway. What was the other one? Superhero theme fireworks night, right? As you see Cole Hamels here on the trip, which I wasn't sure what the Rangers were going to do, right? He obviously is going to be on the DL for a little while, but they want him to travel with the team as he goes through his rehab situation, dealing with that oblique, and certainly a good thing. It's always, I think, nice to have the veteran guys around. I see you smirking over there, so what's going on?
I didn't know how to look that up. The 4 strikeouts in an inning.
I think you have to ask somebody to do that one.
So, I just did a quick little doohickey here, and Wikipedia says 72 pitchers have done it.
Really?
So
how about that?
Even fewer.
They don't lie there.
No, that's got to be fact.
I would believe that, though. That sounds about right, as long as it was updated. So they're right there, neck and neck, right? You said 80 immaculate innings, 72 times that there have been 4 strikeouts in an inning. There you go.
Well, Avila 0 for 1. Flight out in the second inning. Count 2 balls and a strikes to him here in the fourth. And Nick Martinez working with a 3-0 lead. And he is allowed 1 walk, 1 hit. This ball hit in the air out towards center. Tracked down nicely by Hoying, 2 away.
We'll take it. That's 2 outs off the bat of Avila, but he has squared up a couple of fly balls that flew out to left, and then that one to right center. He is swinging a pretty good bat, but nothing to show for it tonight.
Did you ever strike out 4 guys in an inning?
Never strike out 4 guys in a 9-inning game now. No, not that I know. I'm probably in college. I forgot a lot of stuff. But it's fun. I actually had a conversation. My little guy did it. My 9-year-old did it this past season. And I tried to explain that he did it, and he didn't actually believe me. He said, well, no, Dad, you can't do that. There's only 3 outs in an inning. I said, no, you struck out 4 guys. The one guy, Paul got away from the catcher, and he beat it out. He's like, well, that doesn't count as an out. I said, I know it doesn't, but you still get credit for the strikeout. It's first-year pitching at 9 years old, so he's still digesting how all the rules work. So he may be the only one in the Kowski family to have pulled off the trick.
Interesting. 0-2 here to Upton, who flied out in the second inning. 3 runs, 3 hits for the Rangers. No runs, 1 hit for the Tigers. And Martinez This is a little bit outside. 3 strikeouts so far for Nick. He is not a big strikeout guy at just 15 coming into tonight, and better than 30 innings pitched.
And that rate, I like looking at strikeout rate and say how many per 9 to give you an idea. We start to use those rate stats a little bit more. So that's 5.7 per 9. We're seeing Major League Baseball get closer on average to about 8 per 9 innings from pitchers. But that speaks to the arsenal, which we showed you guys at the very beginning of the game, which is a lot of those 4- and 2-seam fastballs and then the cutter. Those are contact pitches. Unless you're a really, really hard thrower, those are going to be contact pitches. And Nick's got some good velocity, but he is more about trying to pitch to weak contact and keeping that baseball off the barrel.
This one shot down the right field line, and that drops in, base hit. Upton will go to second. Weird hop off that corner of the stands. Gave some folks hope for a little more, but he will stay at second with a 2-out double.
That's a perfect example right there, right? It's a good pitch from Nick Martinez. It was well located away. Justin Upton did just enough to kind of poke that ball out to right field. Now, we always talk about this all the time. It's a good slider right there. That's a good pitch. He'll take that every single time and just go ahead and credit the hitter for a nice job. Yeah, the ball kind of did take a weird hop over there, and Chin-Chu wasn't sure if it was going to hit the solid part of the wall or that little kind of gated fence. So Justin Upton with 2 outs is not going to try to stretch that and turn that into a triple. But if he was busting out of the box the entire time, he might have had an outside chance. But you know, you just usually don't take that risk with 2 outs and nobody on.
So now, Nick Castellanos. And he turns it foul. Castellanos has not put up real big numbers yet this year. Last year hit .285 with 18 home runs. Did a great job getting on base. And he was having a terrific first half last year. And a hole here now, 0-2. Castellanos just turned 25 years old right before the start of the regular season. And yet, this will be his 5th year in the big league. So a guy who has gotten some significant at-bats at a very young age, and over the years has done a fine job. Averages getting better year by year, although this year it has been a struggle.
I think last year was that real kind of breakthrough year that the Tigers were waiting on. The first 2 full years he had 14 and 15. That batting average was in the 250s. The on-base percentage was just barely over 300. And certainly Castellanos thought he had more than that in the tank, and he did. He proved it last year in 110 games. He hit that 285 like you mentioned. The home runs were up, but slow start so far this season for him. But a guy that I think the Tigers don't necessarily count on to be a big bat because they have so many good ones.
He takes that one off the hip or the lower back. Boy, not happy about it. I don't know who would be, but interesting reaction. He's on.
This reaction for me is probably more about the fact that it hurt than actually worrying about any kind of intention here from Nick Martinez. 2-seam fastball that gets away. Looked like it caught him maybe right on the lower part of his rib cage, and yeah, that stings a little bit. A little chilly here tonight in Detroit. And Castellanos also, listen, he's grinding it out right now, struggling here a little bit. Probably not thrilled to be taking one off the ribs from Nick Martinez.
So a couple of base runners now with 2 outs for James McCann, who struck out in the 2nd inning. McCann with 7 home runs this year. And Martinez coming in on him. Well, even after plunking Castellanos, comes right back in on McCann.
It looked like Nick on those last 2 fastballs, and Doug Roquel's going to jump out there real quick to talk to him. Looked like he may have just opened up a little bit. Sometimes we'll say you're leaking on your front side, and that glove starts to open up, and that front shoulder starts to open up just a little bit. And when you do that, the ball is going to run on you on that arm side a little bit more. And so Doug Roquel probably thinking about and saying something to the effect of, hey, let's get you a little bit close right here, stay over the rubber a little bit longer. You're not worried about the base runners in this situation with 2 outs. Stay close, drive that ball to the spot, and it'll stay closer to where you want it.
Well, Roquel with the visit, the instructions, and heads back.
You have to keep an eye on McCann. The batting average is always kind of low for him in his career, especially right now. But he's got some pop. He can run into one. 7 home runs already this year for him in just 108 plate appearances. He hit a career high 12 last year, but in more than 3 times the plate appearances that he has so far this year. So the power has been up for McCann.
Bounces it to shortstop, and that one deep in the hole, and everybody is safe. The throw to Odor was offline, and Rougned couldn't corral it and stay on the bag at the same time. So an error loads him up.
Nick Martinez made the pitch that he wanted to make, and he got the weak contact and the ground ball. You'll watch Elvis here as he has to move to his right a little bit, and the quick exchange, and that throw just got away from him. Good job, and the heads-up play by Ryan Rua, by the way. But you see Elvis here, throw got away from him. It's going to happen every once in a while, but good job by Ryan Rua to make sure that he gets there and backs that up so that Justin Upton can't score.
So the problems building a little bit here, and Romine apparently thinking he was going to squeeze in Upton.
Well, it wasn't going to be a squeeze because there's 2 outs, so he's trying to bunt for a hit. He was basically trying to catch the Rangers off guard. So you have Joey Gallo, who's playing off the line right now. So you have the option of trying to go down the line at third, and then you have Ryan Rua. You see how far back Ryan Rua is playing right now. So not a great idea unless you're scuffling, but if he puts it in the right spot, he's going to look really smart. There are some opportunities based on the way the defense is set up.
Look, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, people do all sorts of things, but with 2 outs and the bases loaded, that just does not seem like the type of thing anyone would ever do.
No, I mean, listen, again, you're shooting corners, and it's not going to be a bunt that's short. You're going to try to push that down the third base line or the first base line.
Oh, this one off the glove. Everybody will stay. Lucroy able to get to it quickly.
And Romine obviously struggling a little bit, hitting .226 on the year, and batting average not that high. You should see this fastball just kind of get away from Jonathan Lucroy. And there's Upton. See him kind of going back, and so far, Rangers have dodged a couple of bullets this inning with the error and the backing up and everything else, and that potential wild pitch. So still a chance here for Nick Martinez to try to get out of this inning without any damage.
It could be a big lift if he's able to take care of Romine right here. And Romine rips it into right field. That's a base hit. Upton is in. They'll stop Castellanos, and just 1 run scores on the Romine single. What a weird 4th inning it has been.
Well, it's an off-speed pitch. It sat in the middle of the plate. Now a little bit more down and in, but still a strike. And Romine was able to get the barrel to it. And the Tigers are not a team that are known for necessarily their base running prowess, and they go kind of station to station. By the way, that is Justin Upton's 800th career run scored. I kind of wonder if that off-speed pitch kind of did Austin Romine a little bit of a favor. It gave him a chance to get to that ball.
Well, look how this thing has happened with 2 outs. Upton just kind of poked one out over first. Castellanos was hit. McCann reached on the error. You could have imagined the inning over at any point in that stretch. And then Romine with that base hit just a second ago. It's 1-1 to Iglesias. You talk about, you know, a bushel of bad breaks right there for Nick Martinez. Well, that is unfortunate. Now still works with a 2-run lead here, but the bases are still loaded. Iglesias chases. Iglesias rolled out in the third inning. He's 0 for 1. You see his numbers with the bases loaded in his career. 1-2 pitch. A lot of work in this inning for Martinez as a result, as it continues to move on hitter by hitter. He's asked to throw a lot more pitches. That error has proved to be very costly. The 2-2. And this one on the ground, first base. Rua knocks it down. Quick flip, and it's in time to get Iglesias. Even that was a little bit of a hard stopper. Off to the 5th inning. Rangers by 2. By Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by North Texas Ford. The Great American Sales Event is happening now at your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, the Rangers working with a 2-run lead as we go to the 5th inning tonight. In Detroit, opening game in this 3-game series. And top of the order, due against Daniel Norris. Well, Delano's been on both times tonight. Infield hit. Milwaukee has scored a run. Daniel Norris comes right after him with strike 1. Well, we showed you Norris's band maybe an inning or so ago and gave you a little bit of background on his lifestyle and his path to the big leagues. Very interesting guy. And just for those who may be interested, there was a little documentary, I mean, you know, like less than 10 minutes. It was done on an off season with him. In fact, the documentary itself is called Off Season. Do yourself a favor. You'll Google it at some point. Check it out. It's kind of a fun little view. A guy, very eclectic character. And he gets DeShields swinging to start the 5th inning.
First time he's able to get Delano DeShields, who had a nice night at the plate so far with that walk. Back in the 3rd, scored the leadoff single to start off the game. This is a breaking ball that is well located below the zone in the 2-strike count. Lefty on right-handed hitter. You're going to need to keep that ball down, but also down and in to try to get those righties to swing over the top, and that is exactly what Daniel Norris did.
It's only the 2nd time tonight that he has managed to retire the leadoff hitter.
Oh my goodness!
There's that big breaking ball again. This time to Chu.
I know. No, you know, Chu didn't say anything right there. And maybe it's the camera angle. You get a little thrown off every once in a while with the camera angle. Man, that ball looks away.
1-1 the count. I think it has to be something with the camera angle, because there have been some breaking balls tonight that look like they're sweeping 4 or 5 feet across.
Yeah.
And it just looks a little exaggerated. So to me, it's got to be the angle which we're seeing those pitches.
Yeah, every stadium is different as far as where you can put your cameras and everything else. I am a big fan. I like talking about this with people. How we absorb the game. And there are certain stadiums where you can have that camera. There are guys out in center field that are off to the side a little bit, which they have to be. You don't want to be right behind the hitter. It could be a little tricky, but there are certain cameras where they're set up right behind home plate that work a little bit high.
Well, bouncer to Kinsler, 2 away.
I love that look. I personally love that angle as a former pitcher, because you can see the movement on the pitches. The strike zone is more true side to side. You get a little thrown off on pitches that are up to down. Right, there's the advantage right there. You see how it's just a little bit offset. It's funny when you go back and you see some highlights like from the 80s, and some of them that are way off to the side. I mean, your view gets really skewed. But I bring it up because last year in the postseason, Fox used a camera that was dead straight on in Wrigley, and fans complained. But so much so that they went back to the old traditional view off to the side. I do think that more stadiums, and I think like nobody loves change that much, especially you're used to watching a sporting event one way. But I think that straight on view for me is the best view you can get from center field, and hopefully we'll see more and more stadiums kind of go into that view.
Up and away, makes the count 2-0 on Andrews.
And I think the other thing there too, like we just did a bunch of games at home, right? So we do that long stretch at home, and every stadium is going to be a little bit different. That's probably skewed my view a little bit as well on some of those outside pitches to the lefties.
Bouncer down to third. Long throw for Castellanos, but it's in time to complete a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel Norris. We're halfway there tonight with the Rangers leading 3-1. Tonight we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Tomorrow, by the way, on Fox, from coast to coast, an evening of Major League Baseball, the Rangers and Tigers, one of the featured matchups. It's tomorrow, 6 o'clock, right here on Fox. Justin Kutcher and CJ Nick, I don't know. He's working with somebody on that broadcast.
Nikoski.
An old left-hander, CJ Nikowski.
And since we have the
big show,
home viewers now, just a little, I like to throw my PSA out there every time I do a national game.
Good idea.
I will be pretending tomorrow that I don't care who wins. I care who wins. I want the Rangers to win. But because it is a national broadcast, I have to pretend. Oh, okay. All right. So just so you guys know, please no tweets.
Don't at me. Is that what you're saying?
Don't at me. Played it even on the outside.
Ian Kinsler, 1 for 2. starting this 5th inning. And hits his ball sharply down to third. Good pick by Gallo. 1 out here in the 5th inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson. Okay, thanks, Dana. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tyler Collins stepping in. He was struck out and popped up into short left field.
Well, after Daniel Norris came back and put together a really quick inning against the top of the Ranger lineup in the 5th, and he went through 1, 2, 3. It would be nice to see Nick Martinez kind of pull that same trick, right? The Tigers find themselves back in this game after picking up a run in the last inning, and Daniel Norris does his job by keeping kind of the momentum in his team's favor. So now it's on Nick Martinez to try to do the same thing to these Tigers hitters, especially you start looking at, does a nice job of retiring Ian Kinsler, but JD Martinez and the way he's swinging the bat. The idea of giving him an at bat with any base runners on right now as Nick's pitch count starts to climb up there, not necessarily ideal.
Yeah, you talk about managing a lineup, and when you face this team, at least right now, the lineup we're seeing tonight, that's the guy around which you have to manage everything. You feel good working with a 2-run lead, but you do not want him to be able to equalize it with that one swing. Collins now at 2-2. Came in with the average at 233 today. Martinez gets him looking. Another strikeout, and there are 2 away.
And listen, we say this a lot of times about umpires, and I've always felt like this throughout my career. Whatever the strike zone is, and it does vary umpire, as long as there's consistency, right? And that's probably the biggest key. And for Bruce Dreckman, he has been giving that outside corner tonight, and that's good to see consistency. Tyler Collins didn't like it. He looks at that pitch and says, man, that ball's off the plate. It might have been a little bit, but at the same time, Dreckman can look right back and say, listen, I've been calling that pitch all night, and he has.
So the bases are empty for JD Martinez. An ideal situation for Nick Martinez. JD so far hitless in 2 tries and takes a strike. It's 1-1.
He has been so good against the fastball from right-handed pitchers over the last 2 years. A .349 batting average, even better against a 2-seam fastball. That batting average at .400. He has been somewhat susceptible to the curveball from righties, as you see one right there.
Weak pop-up, but that one could be trouble. Drops in. Okay, with all the power of JD Martinez, one thing you don't expect is a little bloop like that, a Texas leaguer to drop in.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy and Nick Martinez know exactly where the weaknesses are. Not that there's a lot of them for JD Martinez, and he's swinging a very hot bat right now, but it is the curveball against right-handed pitchers. And Nick throws a good curveball, and he gets really weak contact. And when you're going good, everything just seems to kind of go your way. And so JD Martinez gets himself a base hit on a ball that he did not hit hard at all.
So he's aboard for Alex Avila, who is twice flat out tonight.
And here's the thing that Brad Osman said about Avila real quick. This is his second tour of duty now with the Tigers. He said he is swinging the bat significantly better now than last time they had him. He had him 2 years ago here. And the big thing he said he noticed, that he's been attacking pitches in the zone. Now he takes that curveball right there in that situation, which is a good take. It's a good pitch, not necessarily the one that you want to be hitting in that spot. And there's Tony Barnett up in the Ranger bullpen, but he said he has gotten suddenly very aggressive. A lot of hard contact. We've seen it already, a couple fly balls, but he has hit the ball hard tonight. He's been on a nice little streak.
The tapper foul. 0-2 on Avila.
Number 2, he had those concussion issues for a while. It seemed like, man, one after another with poor Alex Avila.
Rangers got a couple of runs in the second, one in the fourth. And the Tigers answered with a run in the bottom of the fourth inning to make it a 3-1 ball game. Man aboard, 2 out here. And this one is bounced to second base. Odor right there for it, though. And the inning is over. The Tigers leave another runner. We go to the 6th tonight in Detroit. Rangers lead by 2.
It is time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot is worth $2,300 plus dinner for 2, which I would assume would be me and our winner at Sonic Drive-In. Today the Rangers are hitting for Annette Williams of Irving, Texas. If a Texas Ranger hits a home run during this inning, she will win $2,300. And if a Texas Ranger hits a grand slam, she will win $25,000.
A lot of tater tots.
I mean, I'm assuming that Annette would pick me as her choice for dinner at Sonic, right? Dinner for 2.
I would
dine in or take out.
I think that's probably a reach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about to find out, buddy.
Well, here's Jonathan Lucroy. And he takes one inside. It'll be Lucroy, Odor, and Napoli. I would take him. If I were to win, heck, I'd even pay.
You could kind of take me anyway if you wanted. But here's the deal. This is about the inning you would want, too. The guys coming up.
And this one going to drop right in. Base hit for Lucroy, and he's going to try for 2. Collins up quickly, throws to second, and got him. It was a good read by Lucroy, it looked to me. But Collins with a good reaction.
Well, it was a hose. First of all, this was a great throw by Tyler Collins, but you see him backhand and fall, and you see him recover real quickly and take a peek in and throws an absolute dot to Iglesias at short. But I don't mind the aggressiveness leading off the inning from Jonathan Lucroy. He sees the bobble, reads the bobble, did not hesitate. It was a great throw. You see him shaking his head, but he probably was a little bit surprised, I think, to see that throw from Tyler Collins.
So base is empty, 1 out. And it brings up Rougned Odor, who is 0 for 2 so far. Whoa, boy, that one gets up and away from Norris. Looked like it slipped. Norris put in a good deal of work in the 3rd inning, which is why his pitch count is over 90 at this point. But really pretty good to recover from that 3rd inning and get this deep. Left-hander has allowed the 3 runs so far on just 4 hits. And that part of that 3rd inning was a couple of walks, a hit batter. This ball hit sharply into left field. That's a base hit for Odor. And Ruggie is going to be quite satisfied with that. He is on for Napoli.
Nice piece of hitting here by Rougned Odor. Remember we saw yesterday in that 3-0 pitch? I was like, he's not going to swing it, swinging and driving the ball the other way. You see him again, always a good sign. We talk about this a lot with hitters, but even if they're in fastball counts, even if they're ahead in the count, if you see the ball coming off their bat well, going the other way, it tells you everything you need to know about their swing. Locked in right now and feeling good. You might be ready to see a Rougned Odor run here with the last few swings that we've seen from him.
Well, here's Napoli. Napoli 1 for 2 tonight. Struck out in the second inning.
I'll tell you, I'm really curious about this because that's, we did it again, right? First pitch you saw. Again, now if it's something that maybe the approach changes a little bit versus lefties, but first strike that he has seen tonight in every at bat, he has gone hacking. We usually don't see that from him. We usually see him take some pitches early in the count. So maybe flipping the script a little bit here. I don't know if it's more because it's Norris and he knows there's a lot of fastballs and he wants to make sure that he's ready to get one, doesn't want to get deep in the count, but it'll always throw you off a little bit when a hitter has one tendency and then all of a sudden does something completely different, and that's been Mike Napoli tonight.
Takes out one high, and it's 1-1. And so he struck out looking in that second inning. Then in the fourth inning when he came up, he muscled up and blasted a ball into the seats in left field. One ball, one strike. Now with 9 home runs for the year. The power numbers continue to be there for him, and fouls this one over to the right side and heading out of play. So, yeah, so this is back in the fourth.
Now let's take a look at our AT&T high-speed replay, and here it was, that 2-0 fastball, and it cut in a little bit, and Mike Napoli barrels this ball up as good as you were going to barrel a baseball up, and drilled that ball to left field, and that is our AT&T high-speed replay tonight.
Now 2 singles to open this inning, but a great defensive play by Tyler Collins. Erased one of the runners. The 1-2, no, first a toss over on Odor. All right, so here we go, inning by inning, Rangers home runs, and it's
amazing.
Kills me.
But here's what's going to happen, right? So it's only been 1 home run in the Sonic Slam inning, 6th inning. There's a big run coming somewhere. I don't know what's going to happen, maybe in July, where you're going to see the Rangers rattle off about, I don't know, let's say maybe 10 in a month.
Wow, 6th inning homers?
We're just going to be giving that cash away, buddy. And potentially.
This one off the glove of McCann, and he gives a base away to Odor. That should be a pass ball, but we'll see. It is.
I think it's a good call on the pass ball here. It elevates a little bit, but not so much that McCann should not have caught it. I actually thought he had it. He had to look in his glove for a second. Good heads up by Rugi. But what I was going to say, when the Rangers do rattle off those 10 in 1 month, it's 10 potential Sonic Slam dates for me, by the way. So everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Well,
just keep begging.
There's no such thing as a bad tater tot.
No, theirs are the best too. I love them. 2-2. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Napoli the second out of the inning. And Norris piling up some strikeouts tonight.
That's the 8th one for him now, tying a season high. He's got that in him. I mentioned what Rod Allen said here about Daniel Norris and what he has seen on the upside. You see the 8 strikeouts there, and took note of 4 of the first 5 that were looking, and now he's done a nice job of when he does get ahead, using that breaking ball below the zone and getting some guys to chase it out of the zone. But he's got that kind of stuff. You can see it.
So 2 away now, and Joey Gallo, who has struck out 2 of those times tonight, awaits the 100th pitch of the evening from Norris, and it's in the dirt. Gallo will strike out. We certainly know that. That's no secret to anybody. 63 times now this year, most in the American League. But his 12 homers and 27 RBIs certainly do a good job of making up for a lot of that. Takes that one very high.
And as that pitch count does start to get up there, you'll see a little action in the Tiger bullpen. That's Anibal Sanchez, the former starter, who has been now moved into the bullpen. Really not taking on a significant role either.
No. So Odor walks off second. The 2-0. This ball is hammered deep to right field, way up there and gone. Gallo launches that one to right. A titanic home run and a couple of big insurance runs for the Rangers. They lead it 5-1.
And Annette Williams will be taking home $2,300 from Irving, Texas. Congratulations. Counted as 2 now. Home runs in the 6th inning. And really, I mean, they should give her $4,600 because this was an absolute bomb. Double it up. I mean, look at this thing. Fastball up over the plate. We know Joey Gallo can crush any fastball, and he absolutely crushed that one. That is a bomb.
Boy, 2 no-doubters tonight for the Rangers. Napoli in the 4th inning. That 2-run shot right there by Gallo. And now Rua, who takes strike 1. Man. Backdoor breaking ball just misses. You know, Gallo, we were talking about the strikeouts, but the fact that a lot of it is made up for with the power numbers and the run production numbers. T.R. Sullivan, who has covered this team for a long, long time at MLB.com, TexasRangers.com, does just a terrific job. He made an observation before that Phillies series, pointing out that Gallo, 23 years old. If you want to go back and look at Mike Schmidt's numbers, at the same time in his career, some very big similarities. As this ball hit well out to the gap by Rua, and it goes to the wall. Rua with a 2-out double.
Similarities as far as at bats, home runs.
Yeah, so go back. Mike Schmidt, his first full season with the Phillies was 1973. And in that year, he was a 196 hitter. He had 18 home runs, 52 RBIs, and how about this? 136 strikeouts. That was in 132 games. And you can compare those numbers to Joey Gallo's, and they're similar. I mean, Gallo obviously strikes out a lot, but similar power numbers as well. That's it for Norris. Man at second, new pitcher coming on, Rangers by 4. Leading 5-1 after the Gallo home run. And now Anibal Sanchez making his 11th appearance of the year.
Yeah, and you see those numbers there. We mentioned it. Anibal Sanchez, of course, was a guy that they were hoping could hold down a spot in that rotation. He's been a member of this Detroit Tiger club going back to 2012 and had some good years in there, but struggled really the last couple. A 5 ERA in 2015, nearly a 6 ERA in 2016. Those were all in the rotation, but he ended up not making the rotation this year, and they put him in to the bullpen, and the numbers not that pretty so far for him. 33-year-old reliever now, Sanchez.
So he takes over here with Rua at second base and Hoying the batter. And gets a favorable call. Strike one to Hoying, who has struck out twice so far tonight. Hoying yesterday was 1 for 4 with an infield hit. Wednesday was the big day for Hoying, his first big league home run, and a 4 for 4 evening. He's in a hole here, 0-2. Hoying just joined the team on Tuesday, called up after Carlos Gomez went on the disabled list for that groin strain that he suffered on Sunday. And Hoying playing every day in center field, and so far he's done a real nice job, both defensively, which is not a surprise at all, but his contributions offensively have been very pleasant. Came in 5 for 11 with a double and a home run in his first handful of games. He swings and misses here. That's strike 3, and the inning is over. So Sanchez comes on and gets the strikeout. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Rangers with the lead. Joey Gallo, his 13th home run of the year, and it was a big one. Theater, and right outside the ballpark here. The walk back to the hotel. Rangers leading by 4 tonight as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Our Kubota power stats, well, tonight they are in regard to what this Rangers bullpen has been able to do. Tony Barnett has come on to pitch, but 1 walk in the last 13 innings for this bullpen.
It's a big deal because it was an issue early on. Doug Brocail had expressed some of his frustration really with the entire pitching staff, but especially late. Listen, the idea of the relievers coming in and having some walks certainly not ideal. And so lately they have been not just good, they have been great. And 1 walk in 13 innings, he'll take that every single time. So it's just been good, I think, overall to see how well the Rangers bullpen has been throwing and kind of order has been restored after a little bit of a slow start. A lot of confidence now for Jeff Bannister. Every time he picks up that phone, has to make a call down to the pen.
Now Tony Barnett comes in here with a 4-run lead, and His first man is Justin Upton. It'll be Upton, Castellanos, and James McCann in this 6th inning. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Rangers. They have made the game's only error. 1 run, 4 hits for the Tigers. Upton fouls one off, 1-1 the count. So both starters out of the game. Daniel Norris pitched into the 6th inning, but ran out of gas. Gave up the home run to Gallo, and the double by Rua ran him from the game. Well, those are a couple of big runs at the very end of his outing. Meanwhile, Nick Martinez, 5 really good innings, and the 1 run that scored was a part of a wacky 4th inning. Got 2 quick outs, and then just a series of odd at bats, hit batters, errors, those kinds of things. Ended up generating a 2-out run. That'll even the count here on Upton at 2-2.
Tony coming at Justin Upton with a steady diet of fastballs. We know he throws that cutter pretty steady, but so far maybe keeping it in his back pocket and using it as a pitch to maybe try to finish off Justin Upton. But he has come right at him with pretty hard heat, wishing some good velocity from Tony tonight as well. Running up there 94, 95 miles an hour.
There's 2-2. Just missed. See, so that's the angle, by the way. It's at that corner where it looks really good to us. But again, because of the angle, we're a little deceived. And then the inside corner on right-handed hitters, that's where it would appear anyway, that you get a little extra. Again, just mostly due to the angle at which we're seeing it. Payoff pitch. And that is ball 4. Hey, Sunday, June 4th, Rangers and Astros getting together, and the first 7,500 kids, 13 and under, will take home an Adrian Beltre replica Gold Glove, courtesy of Powerade Zero. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com, or you can also call 972-RANGERS. That series is also going to be a red out the ballpark series, so keep that in mind. Get your tickets. Get your red ready. Well, the first time tonight now, the Tigers have a leadoff hitter on base. And Castellanos chases a pitch out of the zone for strike 1.
It's a nice matchup here for Tony Barnett, and the idea of maybe trying to get that ground ball double play. He's got one of the better ground ball percentages of the arms in the bullpen at 55%. He's also got a right-handed hitter in Nick Castellanos, who going back to the beginning of last year has really struggled against the cutter. So this could be good spot here for Tony to roll one up.
Lifted out toward right field. Chu started back, has to race in, and that drops in for a hit. Everybody safe. First 2 men on in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, they didn't hit it very hard. We've seen a couple of these tonight. We saw Justin Upton do it earlier. There's that little cutter that Tony throws away to Castellanos. And
right field.
He just caught her off the end of the bat. A lucky little base hit. So Tony now finds himself in a little bit of a jam here with 2 on and nobody out.
There's been a lot of, I don't want to say softly hit balls, but you know, bloops or bleeders or whatever that have gotten in today. That one, J.D. Martinez, little Texas leaguer in the 5th inning. You mentioned the Upton hit. Yeah. So 2 men are on, but it is now the bottom of the order. 7th place hitter James McCann, who's 0 for 2.
There's more of the true cutter. The pitch before might have just been a 4-seamer that cut a little bit. That was the true cutter right there that Tony throws, and actually had a little bit of depth to it as well. So McCann watched Tony throw a bunch of 4-seam fastballs to most of those righties, and he got him to get a little bit overexcited and swing right over the top of a good cutter.
Oh, and 2 now, the count on McCann. 5-1 Rangers lead. First game on this road trip. Bring a 9-game winning streak into Detroit. That one bounces away, and both runners will advance. Lucroy still having trouble finding it. Finally tracks it down, and the wild pitch will put Upton at third and Castellanos at second, and that's a big wild pitch. Takes away the double play now.
It does, and this is Tony going for a swing and a miss on a ball that's down, and Jonathan Lucroy kind of looking around and finding it. This is the job of the pitcher. You see Tony running in, but when he realizes that Jonathan Lucroy can't find that ball, your job as the pitcher is to point to where the ball is and scream out, whether you want to say 3-3-3, meaning the third base side, or 1-1-1, straight back, whatever it may be. But that is on the pitcher in those situations, to make sure you're running and you're screaming and you're pointing so the catcher knows where the ball is.
One time asked for. Barnett, a walk and a base hit. He needs a strikeout right here. McCann down to count, a ball and 2 strikes. He won't chase. Last year, McCann in 105 games hit just .221, and he struck out 109 times in a little better than 300 at bats. So he is a guy you can get to swing and miss. Dario Alvarez getting loose. A little bit of a breeze picking up now tonight here in Detroit. 2-2, and it's fouled back.
It's a big swing there by McCann. I mentioned he's got some power. A really big average guy. Got to be a little bit careful with him. And Jonathan Lucroy right now going out to talk to Tony Barnett about what they want to do here. I think they didn't like the swing on that last foul ball. Now both of those home runs that he hit, has hit 19 over the last 2 years. 7 on fastballs, 4 on sliders. He had some two-seam fastballs in there as well. But he's hit just about every pitch. As I'm looking at this list, just 1 for a cutter. That is, of course, Tony's go-to.
Well, a good crowd here tonight on a Friday night, and they've been into it, especially in these last couple of innings. Tigers have had some opportunities, had the bases loaded in the 4th inning, but left 3 on. Second and third here, nobody out. And a big 2-2 on the way. It's a full count. Well, we know McCann has the power. With the 7 home runs. They came on his first 11 hits of the year. That's just 19 hits this year. With 7 of them have gone over the fence. Barnett's payoff. And this one lofted out toward right center. Playable though. Hoying is over, makes the catch. Upton tags. He'll come in to score. And it's a 5-2 ball game on the McCann sac fly. Hoying got it back into the infield and got it back in over to third base. And in doing so, kept Castellanos out at second, where it would still take a base hit to get him home.
And that's the right play there. You don't want to get over anxious. And sometimes you get behind the ball and you think you're feeling good. Like, oh, I'm going to take a shot at throwing this guy out. He did not have any chance at throwing Upton out. So the smart play is to go ahead and throw that ball to third base. Do not let another runner get to third base where he can score potentially on a wild pitch or another sac fly, whatever it may be. So that is the right play in that situation. Good job by Hoying, not trying to overdo it. That ball was hit far enough that just about any major leaguer I think is going to score. But every once in a while you get a guy who gets a little bit too excited, kind of tasting himself a little bit, wants to show it off, and then you let another runner advance and you get yelled at when you get back in the dugout.
One out now. And Romine takes strike one.
There's that really good cutter. Tony, see that one at 89 miles an hour, a little bit tighter. Not as much movement. I think after what we saw from Romine hitting a breaking pitch that was down in a softer one from Nick Martinez, the idea of throwing the harder, tighter cutter up and in was a good choice.
Another strike. Jumps ahead 0-2. Romine 1 for 2. Had the RBI single in the 4th inning. It's the one that brought Upton home for the first run of the game. Upton has scored this inning on the sac fly by McCann. And this one pulled foul.
And Omar Vizquel still has some quick feet down there. Where do you think right now if you put Omar Vizquel in the infield right now, shortstop? He'd still be a middle of the road defensive shortstop,
yeah,
or
probably.
Better. Yeah. Now there are some great shortstops to talk about in the game, and he certainly loves this chilly weather in Detroit, it appears.
Wait a minute, I thought it wasn't that cold.
Well, I told you to check in with me a couple hours later. It's a little chilly.
1-2 the count. You know why it wasn't so bad earlier, right?
Because the sun was still out.
Because we had our windows closed until the start of the game.
That's a good point. Got to have them open though. You can't. You can't have the windows closed. No. Not even an option.
Nope. I'm looking around. I think everybody's got theirs open.
Pixie down there on radio, he's got his open.
He does. On third, foul. The count stays 1-2 on Andrew Romine. Rangers leading by 3 here tonight. Bottom of the 6th inning. Barnett on in relief of Nick Martinez. Went 5 innings, 1 unearned run on 4 hits. Nice job by Martinez. Check swing, and that one is a little bit outside. Barnett, this will be his 22nd pitch already in the inning. He's only retired 1 hitter. And a bouncer foul. Oh my, being a real pest.
His bat paid the price there. Broke it.
Hey, Oklahoma fans, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Rangers game. You can get discounted tickets for the Tuesday, May 30th game against the Rays. And you get a free Rangers cap in Sooner Crimson and Cream colors while supplies last. Go to TexasRangers.com/OU for details. University days back again here in 2017. One out. Castellanos at second base for the Tigers. And yet another 2-2 pitch. And Romine takes strike 3 called. So 2 gone in the 6th, and that's a big strikeout for Barnett.
A really big one in a big spot. Does a nice job here locating this pitch. Fastball away. Understanding the zone, understanding the umpire. Got a little bit of cut to it right there, but perfectly located on the outside corner.
So now with 2 away, he'll get the 9th place hitter, Jose Iglesias, who is 0 for 2 so far tonight. And he takes a strike. Iglesias reacting as if that one was going to hit him, which is interesting. It might give you just a little insight into how things have been going for him at the plate. Very slick fielding shortstop. Goes around, and it should be strike 2. It is. Here's Streckman making the signal to count 0-2.
He's not seeing the ball well inside. You can tell by the reaction here. Watch this. I mean, ball's out of the strike zone. He swung. And if it hit him, it's still a strike. I'll just give you an idea based on those last 2 pitches. whatever it is, he's having a little bit of a tough time picking up that pitch inside.
So Barnett ahead here 0-2. And he gets Iglesias to strike out swinging. So the inning is done. Tigers do get a run back. They leave a man. We go to the 7th. Time for the Ford game summary. 5-2 Rangers leading, and once again, well, we talked about our winning combination today in the pregame show as being this balanced offense, no longer needing the home runs. 2 big home runs tonight, though. Well, we've missed everything, but 2 big home runs, and they lead by 3.
And you, of course, jinxed, the bullpen with just 1 walk in 13, and Tony Barnett walked the first batter that he faced. But listen, we know the Rangers have power, right? I mean, that's always going to be part of their game. But when they're winning some games and not relying on that power, I do believe that that's a good sign. But listen, you love watching those 2 home runs. They were absolute bombs off the bats of Mike Napoli and Joey Gallo. And it is how the Rangers offense works. It's just a matter of getting more guys on base and at times cutting down on those strikeouts, especially when you're going up against good strikeout pitching, right? That's the issue you start to run into, is when you face some of that top tier pitching, and if you've got too much swing and miss in your lineup, it becomes difficult to score runs.
Well, Delano DeShields has reached 2 out of 3 times that he has been up today. An infield hit a walk, but he did strike out his last time up. And he shoots this one out toward right field. That will drop in. Base hit, his 2nd hit of the night. Well, he continues to do a great job in that leadoff spot.
And he's got 3 opportunities here to do it as well, leading off the game and then leading off the 5th and now the 7th. But Delano, short to the ball. Good level swing, driving the ball the other way. He's been on base now 3 of his 4 plate appearances.
Well, he's on for Chu. Chu was hit by a pitch a little earlier. Laid down a real nice bunt in the first inning. That bunt he laid down in the first, I was really surprised when it resulted in an out. And it was a sacrifice off the bat, and the way he got out of the box, I thought, well, that's a sure base hit.
That's credit to Daniel Norris. He's done a good job. We saw him obviously out of the game now, but he did a good job fielding his position on a couple of plays. He bounced off, was quick. He was even a slight hesitation, but he was still able to be quick enough and to get that ball to first base. And Anibal Sanchez has suddenly become obsessed with Delano DeShields.
Well, you talked about it earlier. McCann's had a real tough time throwing out base runners, and Delano, the best base stealer on this Rangers team, but he's not going.
Let's take a look at that bunt as we talked about from Shin-Soo Choo. It was a pretty good one. I love the idea. The play was right. He does a nice job of busting it out of the box. But look at Norris, the angle that he has to take, and a little shovel pass around the option there. It's not easy to do while you're trying to do that on the run, reach down, field the ball cleanly, and shovel it all in one motion.
Strike in there to chew the count. No balls and 2 strikes on the Rangers' second place hitter. Good crowd tonight, better than 33,000 here on Polish American night. Celebrating C.J. Nitkowski.
So it's big Polish community here in Hamtramck. I actually had a guy last year send me a bunch of Polish sausages and meats from Hamtramck,
Nice.
Michigan.
Now, how far is Hamtramck from
Close.
where we are?
Real close, 5 minutes. Right in the area.
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, look, there's you, Dave.
Were they good sausages?
Oh, they were fantastic. I mean, they came in, you know, when you can send like food with the styrofoam cooler with all the dry-free stuff, so they were good to go. They didn't last very long, but they were delicious.
2 fights this one off, slicing away down that left field line. Foul.
Although I have been known to disappoint some Polish folks because, you know, they hear the name and they'll like to see a Polish guy get to the big leagues or whatever it may be. Not all that familiar with the heritage. I'm only a quarter Polish, and so I carry the name. I'm actually more Italian in my mother's side of the family than I am Polish. So I've really disappointed some Polish people along the way. I'll get Polish people will speak Polish to me over the course of my career just out of nowhere. Hey, Nitkowski, and they'll say something. I'm like,
don't know. Little pop up out to deep short, and Iglesias there to take it in, 1 away. Well, Rangers fans, you can download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can always stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by Hyundai. Well, I'm not Polish, and you disappointed me earlier today. I mean, they had all the great Polish food in the media lounge today, and I was excited that to eat all of it. It was quite good, but you didn't go for it.
It wasn't intentional. I just ran out of time. I was busy today, prepping for the game. There goes the lineup.
Shields running. The pitch is in there, and the throw is a good one. The Shields thrown out.
He doesn't want to leave because he felt like he stole that base. He's still standing on the bag and almost to ask second base umpire Jordan Baker, are you sure? He is not leaving. Delano DeShields feels pretty confident they got it in there. Now, we did kind of stutter step a little bit as he got close to the bag, which was a little bit unusual. But, yeah, I think he may have a case that he got his foot in here. I love that Delano hasn't left second base yet. Like, he hasn't left. He's not leaving. He is that confident that he is safe. I want to ask him about that next time we get a chance to talk to him. It's interesting to me to see. It's rare, but the feet first slide into second base. I feel like you see a lot of that. Chu does it once in a while.
Right. No, you're right. You definitely see a lot more hand first.
I just wonder. And again, it looked like I get a little bit of a stutter step in there. It seems like there's a bigger advantage to going in hand first. Right, you got an opportunity to work around a guy, tag, reach around, whatever it may be. He went in feet first. We have to find out about that. Dig in a little bit as far as what goes into that decision, but you'll see this right here and watch that right foot. Enough to turn it over?
I think so. Yeah, no, he looks quite safe to me. That angle's not as friendly.
Yep, it's close.
Well, I just don't think we see enough from that back angle to know. But I thought from the first viewpoint was a much better look, and I did think he was safe.
I love this. I love that his foot is still on the back. Like he refuses to get off second base. No, I stole that base. I will stand here, and you guys will all recognize the fact that I stole this base.
I will say we're a little spoiled at home. The camera work at home, but also I think the technology back home at Globe Life Park is a little superior to what we find sometimes on the road. We get a lot of those super slow-mo cameras. We have more, I think, at Globe Life Park than you have in any other ballpark. That
used to be 5,
lot.
didn't it? I think they dropped 1. They're not. I mean, they have 4, which is an unbelievable number. It is nice for us because we get great replays. Those cameras are unbelievable.
Here we go.
Oh.
Interesting. The call stands to Shields is out. This is the third time he's been caught this year.
It was really close. I'm curious to hear some of his quotes post-game about it. It looked like there was a little bit of a stutter step in there, but it did look like he may have gotten his foot. But it's one of those where if they had called him safe originally and then the Tigers challenged it, it probably also would have stood. It was that close of a play.
So now 2 outs and the base is empty for Elvis Andrus.
By the way, minute 35 for that review, which is right around average of where baseball has been.
Right.
Felt a little longer, but it's a pretty good number. I think baseball's happy with that number. If they can keep it there, obviously under a minute would be ideal, but for ones that are close, minute 35 is a good spot.
Andrus in a favorable count takes a strike. He thought that might have been ball 4. Instead 3-1. Sanchez got the strikeout in the 6th, and then has come back out here in the 7th inning, and Andrus hammers this ball down the left field side, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. Upton tracks it down, inning over. So the Rangers nothing doing in the 7th, still lead by 3. Score and tomorrow's pitching matchup brought to you by AT&T. AJ Griffin against Justin Verlander. A contrast in styles, and that's going to be a fun one tomorrow. Middle game of this 3-game series. AJ, who got this whole thing started back in San Diego.
That big shutout, right? 11-0 at Petco Park. He said he wanted to be a streak starter.
Yep.
And indeed he was and has been, and he'll get an opportunity tomorrow. AJ having a little bit of fun. I think he was a big fan of Roll Out the Barrel, what they were just playing here at Comerica Park. It got him going a little bit. Although I don't know if it takes much of anything to get AJ going. Trying to get Tyson Ross to engage in a little dance. Tyson kind of shut him down a little bit.
All right, Keone Kela now on in the bottom of the 7th inning, making his 14th appearance.
And you see the numbers there, but Keone has been throwing the ball very well as of late. Hasn't got as much work. Looking back, he has not pitched actually since the Oakland series. Is that right? Are my records correct? May 13th was the last time he pitched.
Certainly always worth checking your records. But yes, the last appearance I have for Keone was on the 13th, that Saturday game against Oakland, and he drops a breaking ball in there for a strike to Ian Kinsler.
That's 5 full days rest, and there was an off day in there as well. He had those back-to-back days. That's what it was. So he threw 2 innings, 23 pitches. Next day came out, threw an inning, 17 pitches. So Jeff Bannister gave him a day off. Then there was a team off day in there. and pitched at all in the Philadelphia Phillies series, so I got to believe he'll be feeling pretty good and strong. But I've told you this before, sometimes too much rest. It's great, you feel like you're throwing 100 miles an hour, but you don't always feel as sharp. So we'll see how Keller feels after a few days off.
Well, does a nice job here getting ahead of Kinsler, 0-2. And then shows him the fastball. Kinsler, base hit tonight in 3 tries. Tigers with a run in the 4th inning and a run in the 6th for their 2 tonight on just 5 hits. They'll stay alive at 1-2.
That's a curveball from Kellen. He really is a true 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball 68% of the time at 96 miles an hour, right around that's what it averages, and then it's the rest curveballs. But it's a nice combination. You saw him elevate the fastball and then throw that curveball down. And Jonathan Lucroy decides he wants to change his mind on what they're going to do here. Now, figure it's only 2 pitches. How confusing can it get? But it's also about location and where do you want to throw that ball. And looks like he's calling for the curveball again.
And Kinsler pops it up on the right side. Rua takes care of it. And that is out number 1. A little hat tip tonight to our good buddy Matt Hicks on the radio side today. All by himself. How about this? 9 innings of play-by-play. That's one thing.
Yep.
But no partner. No Eric Nadel tonight. No Jared Sandler. It's all Hicks all day.
Yep. Old school. I thought he was looking to his left for a second, pretending he was talking to somebody. He was actually just looking at his monitor. That is amazing, right? Old school thing, especially just at radio in general. You and I talk about this kind of stuff all the time, but most radio broadcasts, the main play-by-play guy will do 6 or 7 innings. Right? You have somebody fill in for 2, and then you have your analyst there to give you a little bit of breather if you need one for whatever reason. Not tonight. Dixie is flying solo.
Well, the other thing is on the radio side, you're constantly describing the scene, the count, the situation. Right? I mean, it's nonstop talk or conversation, even if it's with yourself or what would appear to be yourself. And we saw that shot right there of Hixie. A lot of talking going on, which is to be expected. And I contrast that to what we do. You and I work with a team of about 6 people in the truck, several people up here in the booth with us, and we have the pictures all night long. When we had shots earlier tonight over the Tigers TV booth, they were never talking. There's 3 guys just staring out at the field. And Kelly gets a big strikeout, and they're 2 away. Right? It was amazing.
Yep. You can take a little time off in the TV booth. You cannot do so in the radio booth. You have to describe everything that is going on. You have to paint pictures for your listeners. And like I said, Matt Hicks is doing all, I don't know, 3 hours and 10 minutes of it by himself.
And you know what? Happy to do it.
Yeah.
Just excited and
that's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does. We have such a great team on the radio side. Just today to our left. Here's JD Martinez, 1 for 3. And it's 1-1. Martinez struck out, flied out. And then his base hit was a towering bloop out into short center field. He's been one of the really good stories around Major League Baseball the last couple of years. His rebirth here in Detroit, what he's been able to do.
JD Martinez's story was really interesting to me. Obviously, when he left the Astros, right, they released him. I felt like there wasn't a fit for him, which is incredible to think that he's been a better outfielder than anybody. They've got some good ones now, but a better outfielder than anybody they've thrown out there since he has been gone. But really, how he got there, watching video, started with Jason Castro trying to get his swing right.
Will pop up foul ground. Rua will give it a look, but no play.
And he talked about how he was struggling, and then he was going through a little bit of an injury, just kind of digging in and trying to get this thing figured out. So he did some side-by-side comp video of him and Jason Castro. Was actually the first video that he watched. And he watched Miguel Cabrera, Ryan Braun, Mike Trout. And what he saw was that his bat was not in the zone nearly as long as their bat was, right? And it's so funny because we hear so much now about trying to get the ball in the air and, you know, take more of an uppercut. Well, you take a flatter swing, your bat's going to stay in the zone longer. So that's what he tried to get to, and he did. And it took pretty quickly for him, and he's been on that roll ever since.
Swing and a miss. And Martinez strikes out to complete a 1-2-3 inning for Keone Kela. Rangers still lead by 3.
Park in Detroit, Michigan, with the Rangers leading the Tigers 5-2. Let's go back to August 12th, a year ago, 2016. Anibal Sanchez versus Jonathan Lucroy. Fastball down for a home run, but he was not finished. Later in that game, another opportunity for Jonathan, and he takes Anibal Sanchez deep twice in one game. And we show you that why? Because Jonathan Lucroy is strolling to the plate right now against Anibal Sanchez, and he would not mind maybe adding another to the resume. He's not going to get an opportunity to hit 2 tonight. You take one right here.
Well, your timing is impeccable, number 2. That was well done. A strike to Lucroy. All right, so Sanchez has got to have that sitting in the back of his mind, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You don't forget most of the home runs that you give up. You definitely don't forget when you give up 2 in one game, and it was on 2 different pitches too. That's the thing I look at you a little bit.
This one popped way up in the air behind home plate, and it's going to stay playable, and McCann takes care of it, 1 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's try Dana Larson again. All right, thanks, Dana. Right here, it is a 5-2 game, and Odor takes the ball. So Anibal Sanchez, by the way, came in the 6th inning, got the strikeout, worked the scoreless 7th, and now out here again in the 8th. Starter turned reliever, and pitching tonight a little bit more like the starter. A little tapper over the mound, and a nice high hop to the shortstop Iglesias.
It's actually Castellanos. It's Castellanos playing second.
All right, our State Farm winning combination tonight. How about this? You can combine the home run by Napoli in the 4th inning. That was a bomb solo shot. Go ahead and combine that with Gallo's in the 6th inning. Yeah.
And Joey Gallo upped Mike Napoli, and a home run is a home run. You'll take him any way that you can get, but 439 feet. For Joey Gallo, 115 miles an hour off the bat. He smoked it. Mike was not wearing those glasses in his earlier at bats, was he?
I don't think so. That's another astute observation.
Somebody's got to be paying attention.
I didn't notice it.
I don't know if I've seen him. I've seen him hit with sunglasses before.
Right.
The clear ones are kind of interesting.
So I don't.
I don't know if there's been some kind of glare or something going on, because he doesn't wear prescription glasses, obviously. I don't know if he wears contacts. He's having an issue. I'm not sure exactly why he would go with the clear one. Very interesting.
Well, Sanchez. 2-1 pitch.
Yeah, there's Mike Napoli, no glasses. Just in there a little bit and had absolutely no problem seeing that ball. Who knows? We'll find out.
Oh, he strikes out here, and that ends the 8th. Hannibal Sanchez looking pretty good here in relief. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers leading by 3. Is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Well, a 5-2 Rangers lead, and Keone Kela, after a scoreless 7th inning, comes out for an 8th. Interesting. Got a couple of strikeouts in the 7th. Alex Avila, 0 for 3. Will start things off for the Tigers.
I like this. I mean, I mentioned where Keone Kela last outing was an inning, but the one before that was 2. And so Jeff Bannister is comfortable using him a little bit more than just the 1 inning. And listen, he looked really sharp in the first one. Blew through hitters 1, 2, 3, including a very impressive strikeout of J.D. Martinez. So why not run him out there again? You got the lefty up, but then you got Upton and Castellanos afterwards. And certainly Upton is the guy that you worry about the most at this point in the game. And man, in a perfect world, the idea of turning the ball over to Matt Bush to face the bottom of the order would set up very nicely for the Rangers.
One in there for a strike. The count at 1-2 on Avila. And you see Francisco Rodriguez, the deposed closer, loosening up for Detroit.
Kela, by the way, 3 of his 13 outings so far this season have been more than an inning. He's even run some pitch counts up there, 34. This is high, another one at 26, so I think Jeff Bannister doesn't mind pushing it a little bit here Again, based on how sharp he really looked in the 7th.
Now 2-2. And boy, there's a nice breaking ball, but just missed.
See the reaction from Keller right there. Not that he thought it was a strike. More like, man, how did you not swing at that? It's frustrating when you have a guy in a 2-strike count. You throw your best off-speed pitch. It just finishes, on the corner, below the zone, or top of the zone, wherever it may be. And you'll get a guy to chase. And you're thinking, man, how did you not swing at that?
Well, his payoff. And that one misses, so he puts Avila on to start the 8th inning.
Here's a giveaway that is just in time for the summer. On Saturday, June 17th, the first 15,000 fans receive a Nomar Mazara Big Chill Cooler Backpack, courtesy of Dairy Max. Rangers Mariners will be Saturday at June 17th at 4 p.m. and tickets are available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Benny will be there. Doug Bouquet will be there. Dave Raymond will have a Big Chill backpack, I bet.
There's no question. Upton takes ball 1. Upton's been on a couple of times. In fact, he has scored all of the Tigers' runs. He watches a strike.
That's a really good looking pitch. I mean, not just the velocity, but we saw the 3-2 fastball get away from Keller. Doug Bouquet wants to run out here real quick, but that's actually one of the better pitches that we have seen him throw tonight. But what I love about this is the tilt on that ball. Right, starting up high, you look at that from the side, you're seeing that ball go down on a downward plane. Those balls are so much more difficult to try to square up. And to be able to do it at 97 miles an hour, well, that's a gift.
Well, Doug Bouquet's conversation done. And Keller and Lucroy combined one last time just to double check. Bouquet's been pretty pleased with the way things have gone lately, and he has delivered a couple of very stern messages lately. That came at the front of this long winning streak. Rangers have won 9 straight. And
I'm curious what that one was about. I'll be honest, that one threw me for a little bit because he just threw a really good pitch. We see him come back with another fastball. Took a quick look at Justin Upton going back to last year, so 2016, 2017. Fastballs at 95 miles an hour and harder. Just a 198 batting average again. So this is a nice matchup for Keone Kela, who just threw 2 really good fastballs back to back.
So maybe that was a message. Bring it.
Maybe. Don't mess around with the off-speed pitch. It could be, in case they feel like, for whatever reason, they feel like he's thinking about it. You can still throw it. You just got to throw it out of the zone like that.
2-2. So behind Kela, Sam Dyson getting ready out there.
I like this as a potential matchup if you have to go that route. If for some reason Kela has to come out of the game and there's runners on base, and we know Sam Dyson can close. He's done it in the past, but I do think he would have a lot of value as a middle of an inning guy. Now, he hasn't done a lot of that. He's got to get comfortable doing it. He's a perfect guy to get your ground ball when you need it.
That's a full count now on Upton. So Kela was very sharp in the 7th. Came out here in the 8th, walked Avila. And now he's run the count full on Upton. I want to put Upton on and bring the potential tying run to the plate in this bottom of the 8th inning. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and Upton chases for the strikeout.
Justin Upton will go back to this Tiger dugout pretty befuddled by what he just saw, because it's a 3-2 count from a guy with a tremendous fastball. Has topped out at 97, 98 miles an hour tonight, so you got to be thinking fastball, but also thinking, you know what, I'm going to get the bat started early, going to get his foot down and try to square this ball up and get to it quickly because he's already blown it past me. So you get started early, and then here comes a pitch with a little bit of a wrinkle in it. He had no chance of holding up.
So big strikeout. And now Castellanos, who has been on every time in tonight's game, and he takes a strike. Martinez went 5 innings today, struck out 4, allowed the 1 unearned run. Tony Barnett pitched the 6th inning and allowed a run on a hit. Now Keller trying to make it through 2. That one bounces up there off Lucroy into the backstop, and Davila easily into second base on a wild pitch.
It's a tough pitch right here for Jonathan Lucroy to try to block. It's a nasty breaking ball that finished out in front of home plate. And the idea of getting down, squaring it up with your chest protector is not always an easy thing. Now, here's the thing in these situations, as you see Jonathan talking to Keone Kela, that runner on second base does not mean a lot. Right? You just mentioned when Upton was up, how Castellanos could potentially represent the time, but that's what matters. You get yourself in these situations, and no, you don't want that run to score. You don't want to just let it score. It's not the idea. But what is most important right now for Keller is Nick Castellanos and working him, doing everything he can to get him out. Not worrying about Avila trying to do too much, trying to strike guys out early in the count, trying to prevent a run.
This ball hit well out to center field. Hoying going back, but that is a deep center, and he's there to make the catch. Avila will head to third, but they're now 2 away in the inning. Well, that ball was squared up, but not going to get out there tonight.
Nope, and not in this ballpark either. See Jared Hoying there does a nice job getting back there. There's a lot of room here, 420 feet to center field, and even for all ballparks, depending on where they are in the country and what time of year it is and everything else, as far as the ball actually carrying, no. It warms up a little bit here in the summer. Yeah, that one might have a chance, but not tonight. Keller will certainly take that first out pitch. Excuse me, that first pitch out. First out pitch. Nope. This, I love this kind of stuff. I caught that, but so Jonathan Lucroy put down his pinky. He just wants the fastball away. Shook. Keller shook. He put it down again. He was kind of like, all right, I'll do it. You know, and that happens. You'll get into those situations with your catchers, and it becomes so important. When you really trust the guy, he's all right, I'll do it. Right? So he went there, tried to go fastball away, but he's wanted to throw that breaking ball, and it's a good one, and I get it.
Hook foul.
Jonathan has pushed him a little bit harder, I think it looks like, at least in this at-bat so far, to really trust and use that fastball. So now he's in a great spot. Here 0-2. I'd like to see him elevate the fastball again, especially up and in. Really tough pitch to get to, tough pitch to lay off. The breaking ball is a good strikeout pitch, but he throws that one like he threw before that's too short. You do have to worry about it being in the dirt. But Jonathan said, yeah, let's go ahead and go with the slider.
Oh, he got him looking. 2 more strikeouts in the 8th, and Keller with 4 strikeouts through 2 scoreless innings of relief. We'll go to the 9th inning. Rangers leading by 3. Oh, Rangers trying to make it 10 straight wins. And we've got the bottom of the third coming up here in the ninth inning, leading 5-2. First game on this road trip, a 9-game trip, through which the Rangers will see 3 cities. And Joey Gallo swings at strike 1 from Francisco Rodriguez.
K-Rod, as you mentioned, was the closer earlier this season, but has seen his struggles. You see the numbers right there. And so he has since lost that job and just trying to get back on track right now. He's a stand-up guy about that whole situation when the Tigers took him out. He said, yeah, struggle, got to pitch better. No two ways about it. Didn't make any excuses for a guy that has been in the big leagues for 16 seasons. It is incredible how long this guy has gone.
This one popped up. Short right field. And Kinsler is out there. Number 1. MLB.TV Premium allows you to watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, with your subscription, you get a free one to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV for details.
We talk about that save record a lot. You know, Mariano Rivera up over 600 saves, and pretty good chance we're never going to see that touched. And Trevor Hoffman, of course, has 600 plus as well, but I don't think we'll get to that number. But at one point, because Francisco Rodriguez was closing full time by the time he was 23, there was some talk about could he be a guy maybe that could make a run at it if he pitched till he was 40 years old, if he dominated for a while, a bunch of years where he had led the league in saves, and of course has those 62 saves in one season from 2008. That's when that conversation really started to happen. He had a couple more good years, but things really slowed down. 44 saves for him last year. But for him to even have a chance, it was going to have to be total domination for about another 8, 9, 10 years on top of that. What's going to happen here?
There's a strike to Rua. Matt Bush now up and getting ready for the bottom of the ninth. Tyson was loosening.
See a little exchange right there to tell you that he launched a baseball, threw one, looked to probably Brett Holman, the coach, and flipped him another one. That one ended up somewhere else.
3-1 to Rua. Rua's had a great night. A base hit and a run in the 3rd inning, a double in the 6th. And Rodriguez runs that one by him. It's a full count.
And I'll say this about Francisco Rodriguez. He still has that really good changeup. Goes kind of that split Fosh changeup, a couple different names for it, but it's still really good. It's a matter of consistency as the velocity comes down with the fastball a little bit. Become a little bit more hittable.
Well, he walks Rua, base runner in this 9th inning now. You see a little bit of the wet stuff starting to come down.
Very slowly. It's be worse tomorrow. Fingers crossed for that one. About 40-50% chance near game time. That would be a little bit of an issue. We'd love to be able to avoid that. The tarp, of course, was on the field.
Yeah, no hitting out on the field today.
Came off late too, like relatively close to game time. You don't see that too often.
Well, there was a big demonstration on the field. You could hardly get out there with all the dancers and the musicians. Hoying swings and misses at strike 1.
They were saying kind of some rumblings around the stadium downstairs in the clubhouses. They were going to try to get this game in no matter what. Now, obviously, it was a non-issue, just chilly tonight, but the rain was not an issue. But had it come, they were going to try to fight through it best they could because there's more rain in the forecast tomorrow and then again on Sunday.
0-2 the count to Hoying. Rua's at first, 1 out. 9th inning, Rangers with the 5-2 lead. It has been a cool one here. I'm sure the rain doesn't help matters much. The guys down on the field. Although they do have those huge heaters blowing in the dugouts.
A little more comfortable there than here. Well, not here. The seats are, of course. Yes, I understand. You guys have the most exposure, the most to deal with. But Oh, yeah, baby. Look at Banny says, put that thing right next to me.
Yeah, that thing looks like it puts off a significant amount of heat. I don't know how many BTUs, but that's a lot.
I'd say about 15,000 BTUs, give or take.
2-2 to Hoying. That sounds like a lot.
I think it is. I don't know. I ended up.
Hoying's had a tough night. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Small lead at first for Rua. He doesn't appear to be interested in running. And there's a swing and a miss. And so Hoying strikes out. 2 away in the 9th inning.
Tough night for Jared Hoying. We made such a big deal about that great night that he had. We went 4 for 4. 4 hits and his first big league home run. Tonight a little bit different. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts.
Well, here is Delino, and he's had a great night. Been on 3 times, a walk. He scored a run.
Oh, and right on time, too. The great Chuck Morgan. He sent me a nice little note. I'm watching some Rangers baseball by the pool.
Yeah.
He says, hope the weather is nice in Detroit. Oh, Chuck. And he sent a picture, too. Just rubbing it in.
High strike count 1-1. I think there's a pool at the hotel. If you'd be interested tonight, you could maybe
indoor.
I don't know if it's an indoor. You could go out poolside and maybe take your iPad and watch the replay of this game.
That is something I could do.
It'd be just like Chuck.
Oh,
runner going, and Rodriguez turns, throws to second, and Rua tried to sneak by him there, but Rodriguez caught him. 1-4, caught stealing. So the inning is over. 3 outs to go. Matt Bush coming on, trying to protect the 3-run lead. Rangers got the lead early and they've held on. 5-2. Jimmy John's delivery of the game tonight. How about the bullpen?
The bullpen was great. Tony Barnett comes in and picking up Nick Martinez, but how about Keona Kela? Maybe the most solid performance tonight. One of his better ones of the year. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. Great use of the fastball curveball combination. You see him catching Justin Upton, chasing James McCann, looking, and things continue to roll here for the Rangers and that bullpen. And now it'll be up to Matt Bush to try to finish things off. You see his numbers there for the year, 4 for 5 when it comes to save opportunities. There just haven't been that many for the Rangers. You look at total saves and ranks
around the league, and the Rangers are near the bottom just because there hasn't been that many save opportunities.
No, in fact, you see the 4 for 5 for Bush. Those, I mean, it pretty much has all come in the last week and change as Andrew Romine will lead things off in this 9th inning. Romine 1 for 3. He's in a hole 0-2. Bush pitched yesterday.
He did. He's done a really nice job of keeping his pitch counts down when he has been out there. The pitch counts just have not gotten very high at all for Matt Bush. It has been smooth sailing for him. We talked a lot about him being in that closer role and how he has handled it. Just 9 pitches for him yesterday. His previous outing was 7. The one before that, 6. I mean, he hasn't thrown more than 10 pitches in an outing since May 13th.
1-2 pitch. And they want an appeal. He did not go. 2-2. Well, his last 2 appearances, neither of them saved spots. He pitched Thursday, got the final 2 outs in a 4-run game. Tuesday, came in for the 9th inning with the Rangers leading by 4. And Romine fights him off here. Keeps the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two, and he got him swinging. Strikeout for Bush. 1 away in the 9th.
How about this? 3 1/3 right now for this Texas Rangers bullpen in this game. That's the 7th strikeout to 1 walk, and that is just a fastball that Romine has no chance at catching up to. He tried to be short and quick, but that Bush blew it right past him.
So now Jose Iglesias, and he's had a tough night, 0 for 3. And he swings and misses at a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. You've said it plenty about Bush. Not a big guy. It generates that incredible velocity, and it's an easy-looking 98+. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, it just absolutely jumps on you, that fastball. And he's got the breakable. Listen, it's very similar. We talk about Keonekela and that really nice combination that he has. Matt Bush, very similar in the sense that it's a lot of fastballs, actually 82%, which is a big number. Then he'll throw that breaking ball in there, curveball at about 80 miles an hour. It's just tremendous speed differential on those 2 pitches. 99 right there. He just comes at you with heat. He will throw that slider in there once in a while as well. He's used that about 7% of the time. That's a hard slider, averaging 92 miles an hour when he throws that pitch. It's crazy. 92-mile-an-hour sliders. Even the frequency in which we see these guys throwing sliders up over 90. There it was right there at 92. The ball was down, but that is a true legit slider. Showing up at 92 miles an hour on the radar gun.
The 1-2. And Iglesias pops it up. Heading over to the right side, out of play. Ooh. Count stays 1-2. A little bit of rain on a Friday night in Detroit. 2-2 the count now to the 9th place hitter. Lucroy's had to work a little bit back there tonight, huh?
He has, absolutely, and it's been some high velocities and some hard breaking balls, and trying to get down and keep those balls in front of him even with nobody on base. You're also kind of protecting that umpire back there who appreciates the effort of Jonathan Lucroy.
This ball lined out toward left field, drops in, base hit. The Shields will get it with a backhand, and Iglesias will be happy with a 1-out single. A pretty good battle by Iglesias to finally get a pitch he could handle. It brings up Ian Kinsler. Talked about some of Bush's recent outings. He came on Thursday, or yesterday rather, with a man at third in 1 out and got a couple of groundouts to get out of that one. He's really been very clean lately. So 1-2-3 ninth inning on Tuesday. His save on Sunday, he did give up a 1-out single, but then got a double play grounder to end it. This one popped up. Short right field, and Chu covering some ground to get to it. Takes care of it, and there are 2 away.
That's no easy pop-up. It's starting to drizzle here a little bit. That one was way up in the sky, but Chu does a nice job of getting over there. You know, he doesn't play a lot outfield. We talked about this with him and DHing more this year, and he's out there kind of once in a while, keeping him engaged. He likes the idea of being out there a couple of times a week, but he does a good job. He's pretty solid. Talking about his throwing arm and mechanically really sound.
All right, now Tyler Collins, who struck out 3 times tonight. He's 0 for 4, runner going, and nobody cares. Iglesias goes to second. That is not a stolen base, it's indifference. One out. Ball 2.
A lot of visits tonight.
There have been a few. A lot of conversations.
Now here's the thing too. We know this about Jonathan Lucroy. He is an unbelievable preparer for each series. Now he digs in the data that he wants to use. He has a game plan, right? He's all the way in, as most good defensive catchers are. So when you're thinking along and you have all these ideas that everything's running through your head, there are times where maybe if you're not sure if your pitcher's on board or isn't quite sure what you're trying to do, that you may want to go out there and just kind of tell him something. Could be something along those lines, but I got to believe more likely with Matt Bush, the strategy is relatively simple. Could be something else that Jonathan wants to tell him.
Well, of course, Iglesias have just taken second, so maybe the sign's just making sure that they're on the same page in terms of how they were being relayed. 3-1 now the count on Collins. Bottom of the 9th inning. Rangers leading 5-2. You do not want to put this guy on, though, in front of the man waiting on deck, J.D. Martinez, a 3-1. It's a full count. Bush has 1 strikeout in the inning. It's not necessary to get one right here per se. You just have to get Collins however you can get him. Well, it's fouled back again. Maybe the bat will continue.
A lot of excitement here around that foul ball. If you're wondering what that noise is, it went into the upper deck, came down behind home plate. Young fan made a very nice one-handed grab. That's why you stick around.
Might get one. 3-2 pitch. Might get another one.
Uh-oh, heads up. And it came back again. And this guy with a 2-handed catch. Almost in the same spot.
That was awesome.
That one actually hit the facing of the upper deck. The one before went all the way in the upper deck, bounced back. Guy leaned over, one-handed catch. This one off the facing, which is not very high here. They're not very big. The facing is pretty small. Two-handed grab.
Outstanding.
Section 105, killing it.
3-2 and another foul ball. Collins.
Check that, 129.
You actually got this the section number?
Well, I guessed, and then I said maybe I should look. Section 129.
Nicely done.
It's all in the details, Dave.
Yes. Iglesias second base. Bush trying to save it for Nick Martinez. The 3-2. And there goes Collins. And he gets a potential tying run to the plate in the bottom of the 9th. That really gets those fans remaining into the game. Doug Brocale will head out. and make sure they have a very clear plan here.
Well, it's J.D. Martinez now, and obviously power versus power. Martinez representing the potential tying run, and this is interesting here. You want to be very careful with him. This is not what this Tiger lineup could usually be, right? Which is J.D. Martinez flagged by either Miguel Cabrera or Victor Martinez. You do have Alex Avila on deck, and he has been swinging a very good bat as of late as well. But, you know, for me, I'm still a little bit careful here with J.D. Martinez.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Martinez was injured to start the year, has come back and been very good. 8 for 16 with 5 bombs since his return, and fouls this one back. As a hit tonight, 1 for 4.
I did that little deal with Justin Upton and looking at fastball velocities at 95 and higher. J.D. Martinez the last 2 years doesn't have nearly as many at bats, but he's a 340 hitter on those fastballs that are 95 and up.
1 strike pitch, and that's strike 2. Martinez had a 3-run homer yesterday. I mentioned 5 home runs in 6 games since returning from the DL. He's got Iglesias at second, Collins at first, but in a hole here 0-2. Pitch from Bush. And it's shanked to the right side again.
A couple different options here. We saw the fastball there was elevated kind of accidentally on 0-2, but certainly Matt Bush can try to throw a breaking ball below the zone or come back with the fastball. But for me, if you're going to go up, make sure you get it all the way up.
0-2. And a little tapper, left side of the infield. Long throw for Andrews. And it pulls Roa off the bag. The ball gets away and a run will score. Collins goes all the way to third. Martinez is on. And it's a 2-run game. It is a base hit for J.D. Martinez.
This was the breaking ball, and it was down and away, and it was a good pitch, and Martinez did not hit it very hard, but just far enough to the right of Elvis Andrews where he had to hurry and make the throws up the line, and the ball gets past Ryan Rua. And Omar Vizquel was actually pushing for J.D. Martinez to run to second, and he did not. A little bit frustrated. That's a big play because obviously he would then becomes a tying run that would be put in scoring position.
Yeah, and plus, you know, on a similar type play now, there would be a force out potentially at second base. So a base hit for Martinez. No RBI though. The run scores on the error on Andrews, his second of the game. Well, tying runs are on. And their Tigers cleanup man, Alex Avila. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. And he takes ball 1. Collins third. Martinez is at first. Rangers 9-game winning streak hanging in the balance. And it's a strike, 1-1.
And it has been a strike all night. That is a great spot by Matt Bush and a really good idea to probably live out there with the fastball. There's this old adage for closers. You say you never give a guy an opportunity to pull the ball in a save situation, especially when he represents the tying run. That fastball out there would be a good one here. Looks like I might have called that next one in. Yeah, they're going to go back in.
It is in, and it's 2-1. We had 33,122 announced as the attendance tonight. A lot of them have taken off as the temperatures continued to fall and the rain came with it. But those that are still here very much into things right now. 2-1. And it's fouled away. It's 2-2. Tigers are once again down to their final strike. Detroit had won a couple of games in a row. Came in a game over 500. Just one game out in the Central Division. Rangers with the longest win streak so far this year in Major League Baseball at 9. 2 games over 500. And the 2-2. Got him swinging. Avila punched out for the final out of the ball game. Matt Bush ends up saving it, and the Rangers have won 10 straight.
What a great job by Matt Bush to bear down and bury this slider in a strikeout spot with Avila swinging the bat pretty well tonight. But look at the reactions here from Matt Bush as things got a little bit more dramatic than expected, and he is certainly pumped up, and he made a big pitch in a big spot, and the Rangers keep the winning streak alive. This has been a lot of fun to watch, and these boys are playing well right now.
5-3 the final score. Matt Bush with his 5th save of the year, and Nick Martinez, by the way, finally gets in the win column.